Others company and hang out, talk about cool game stuff. So
Yeah,
thanks for being here, chat room, and
word up.
Yeah, word to your mothers. Sit back, relax, enjoy as we get ready to push a button that'll start all off here. I got to make sure the volume is good, and we're good there and down there. All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Hey, welcome back to Core, everybody. It's Thursday, December 2nd, 2021. This is Core. We're talking video games. The big picture. I'm Scott Johnson with Bo Schwartz and John Jagger. It's very nice to see everybody. We're in the month of December now, which is great news for anybody out there who's been on the fence about supporting our Patreon. So hop over there. We'll talk about it later in the show. Patreon.com/Core Show. One of the reasons is we had a big conversation before the show today about the fact that Tom Holland once did a commercial for Final Fantasy XIV, and I didn't know that. So, did you know that? And if you didn't know that, well, you're like us, or me anyway. John knew. Bo didn't know, I don't think. Me and Bo were in the dark. So go listen to that.
I had no clue.
Yeah, it's all up there, and you're like, wait, how do I get that? Become a patron. Patreon.com/Core Show. All right.
That was in the age of when you saw something Final Fantasy XIV related and then scrolled away.
No, yeah. No, you were. You're right. We've come a long way since then for Final Fantasy.
It was released at a different age. It was a different time then.
Yeah. One of the three of us is suddenly playing it again, and we'll talk about that later also. But before that, this. All right, there's a few things going on out there. We got this Matrix Resurrected, I guess it's called. Yes, Resurrected.
Resurrections.
Resurrection. Shuns?
Plural.
Really?
It's plural.
Okay.
Yep.
What is Alien 4 Resurrection? Just Resurrection.
Resurrection.
One. Yeah.
I have to watch that.
You get one Sigourney Weaver.
Got one Ellen Ripley, or one resurrected Sigourney Weaver. So that's right. We're watching that for Film Sack this weekend, and so it's messing with my Resurrection film name head at the moment. But we'll figure this out anyway. So we got the Matrix Resurrections coming up, and something called Matrix Experience on Unreal Engine 5 leaked on the PlayStation 5 store, and then I think got pulled, right?
I don't remember reading that part. I got so excited by anything Matrix that I was like, oh my god, I might have to buy a PlayStation 5. Shit.
What? If you can find one.
Yes.
You can find anything right now. You can't get anything. You can't get Switches, you can't get Xboxes, can't get PlayStations, nothing. And video card chips. I mean, the chip shortage is like hitting an all-time horrendous moment here, and you can't get them.
So this article it's linked to does theorize that we may hear something on the Game Awards weekend potentially.
Does that mean Keanu shows up again and gets on stage and says, "No, you're awesome" or whatever? Do you think that
out of any franchises, any of these film franchises, Matrix has been the one that's embraced the video game what do they call it? Multi-tiered storytelling or
multiverse?
Like grapple storytelling, like just this idea where like Riot's doing it right now. They have a TV show, they have a MOBA. I'm sure they have comic books.
Sure,
right.
Blizzard
where
does
your
it. They have
story
novels.
gets told in a lot of different formats, and it all lives. It's a metaverse of some kind.
So
sure.
Yeah, for Matrix, there's technically a fourth Matrix film in between Revolutions and. Or no, Reloaded and Revolutions 2 and 3, which is Enter the Matrix, which on the completion of levels, you get exclusive footage not seen in the films tying the two together. And that was an idea that came from the Wachowskis themselves. Like they're big on that. And the Matrix Online, I don't know if it's been answered if that's actually going to remain as canon, but the intent behind Matrix Online was to continue the canon storytelling of it.
Well, I thought they had said that was canon because in that canon, sorry everybody if you're not keeping up, this isn't really a spoiler, but Morpheus dies in that game, in that MMO.
Yeah,
and from what I've read, they're keeping that. That stays. That's why you're not seeing Lawrence Fishburne and things. You're seeing a guy that looks a lot like a young version of what Morpheus might look like. Nobody knows what that means or is. I mean, everything's getting rebooted or who knows, but there's no Lawrence Fishburne because there ain't no Morpheus.
I have theories, but even theorizing can ruin it for some people, so I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
With this film.
Yeah.
But I'm like super stoked for it. I just have to imagine, like, because it's a giant computer program, it can of course be updated, or the expansion pack could come out, or the sequel. It's a Realm Reborn, basically. They should have called it The Matrix: A Realm Reborn. This is post MCU.
Yeah.
And I gotta think the producers are looking at this as a franchise that could just be a beginning. Like I'm thinking they're just like, oh shit, wipe it down. But at least in their fictional world, it's actually very logical and not a stretch or silly, or we have to have Kang come into the multiverse business or whatever. Like it's that. So very excited to see what 2021 version of a Matrix video game entry will look like, because the games, while they were not great, they did do interesting things. Path of Neo was very fun. Enter the Matrix was cool because it did tie some of the story. And then when I went in, people were like, I don't know if I like the Matrix. I'm like, that's just because you didn't play Enter the Matrix. And I got all the secret footage. I know.
I played Enter the Matrix, and I don't think it saved the other two movies for me. But
I know, but I mean, I'm such a fanboy that it's hard.
I mean, it is a cool universe. Like, there's no doubt about it. There's a part of me that feels like they waited exactly the right amount of time to get people hyped about the Matrix again, because this, for whatever reason, when somebody announces like, oh, we're bringing back Ghostbusters or something like that, you're like, yeah, do we need to? I don't know if I really feel the hype. I don't really have the trust. I don't know. It either feels like it's been too long and you're just doing it for the wrong reasons, or it's too soon and it's like, why are we doing this again? And what I found, at least for me personally, is when I saw The Matrix, I was like, oh, like I was skeptical in my mind, and I saw that first trailer and I was like, you know what? I'm exactly ready for more Matrix stuff.
I'm right where I need to be for it. And part of that is on my butt on my couch watching it on HBO Max on premiere night. That's partly where I'm going to be.
Yeah, that's also pretty nice.
Yeah, and it's post John Wick. I mean, Keanu's had all that training.
Yeah, he knows
all that training. Now. Like, yeah, he's prime. This is the best time, right? Hot off, like his thighs are still hot from all the kicking he's doing in 3. Like he's good to go. Get him before his back starts to go out and he can't do it anymore.
He shows up to the set and just goes, I know Kung Fu. And they go, yeah, that's the line in the movie. He goes, no, I just know Kung Fu. Like, what do you want me to do? I would beat people up.
Yeah, he beat up Bill. Ted beat up Bill once with Kung Fu, and it never ended from there. It'll be great to see what this is. My guess is this is less of a game and more of a experience. Like, this is going to be some kind of explore the world of the Matrix and be ready for the movie, and it's not going to be a full game.
I hope it's a VR thing. I don't know. I'm remaining cautiously optimistic. You're right. It could be just some advanced marketing foo. But I don't know. I'm excited. I had to put it in here. I'm a fanboy. I'm like, I've been trying not to go to the Matrix Reddit and get spoiled on things, but a new trailer dropped 2 days ago. And the trailer only shows mostly old footage from the first 3 films.
Oh, weird.
But there's these little slivers of hints. So if you, for example, the Merovingian is coming back in this film, and they show very briefly what he looks like, interspliced with what he did look like. And I'm just like, oh my God, what's happening? And there's a shot, I think, of that Mindhunter guy looking real intense. I posted it on my Twitter. It just looks really weird. And I'm like, I don't know what that's about. And there's a shot of like real Earth with the robot war, and there's there's theories to draw from that I'm not going to go into that might reveal the plot of the film. But it's very cleverly done. They barely showed any new footage, and they made a big deal of the cat. When you see a cat twice, or it's a glitch.
Sure.
And so it's like, so they're showing the old movies and then cutting it with the new movie. In that referential, it's like a glitch way. I don't know. I loved it.
Is Joey Pants eating a steak? Because I'm out. No sale if he's not eating a steak.
Didn't see any Joey Pants.
Damn it.
Didn't catch Joey Pants.
Okay, that's unfortunate.
But
the first movie is one of the greatest things I've ever seen. The second 2 movies are a bummer. They play better if you watch them back to back, but they're still not great. But overall, it's a world I can't wait to be in again in some form. If it's just the movie, if there's some video game tied to it, I'm with you. There's reason to be excited. I think it's all good. We'll see how it goes. By the way, here's the Merovingian, just for fun.
Which is my business to know.
That's from the third movie.
My
business, or this one.
I don't believe this.
I don't believe this. I am the most stereotyped Frenchman of all time, and I'm coming back for 4. So, anyway, that'll be great. Watch for more of the Game Awards, probably, because this stuff tends to get leaked and then show up there. This is big news. This is the one I'm the most excited about, maybe. Amazon is going for a Mass Effect TV show. They're going to try, they're in like major negotiations. There's no filming being done yet. As far as I know, the full project's not, greenlit, but there is work toward securing the rights to make a Mass Effect television show on their streaming Amazon Prime network. And I'm personally not going to listen to all the negative nillies. I want this real bad.
Well, I'm going to make you listen to a negative nilly.
Totally fine. Totally fine. Here, let's get one thing out of the way. I did some math. All right.
Oh, we got math.
I did some math. Yep. And the concern for me was like, all right, they're going to do female Shepard. They're going to do male Shepard. How are they going to handle this? And at first, my first thought was, well, they probably do male because all the box art, all the promotional materials at the time, the commercials at the time, and the trailers at the time, they're all male Shepard doing male Shepard things. But that's probably not reason enough. I think the big reason is I found data that EA has showing that 83.6% of all players chose male Shepard, which is a lot. So I just want to get it out of here early because I know there's a lot of FemShep fans out there, included in this room. This virtual room.
We're talking to 2 FemSheps right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Everyone I know loves FemShep. I like her. I just didn't play her.
A bunch of idiots played the game is what your 83% tells me.
Yeah. I think.
Wait, you insulted 83% of our listeners.
No, not 83% of the listeners. I have a feeling that our listeners are high caliber and don't make up a large portion of that 83%.
What they should do is just do a them-shep and be done with it.
A them-shep? Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, I made basically my first.
That's going to be referred back to later in the show. You guys don't even know it yet.
Oh, great! Here's
the problem: is whether it's male or female. Like, we have strong opinions on what and who Shepard is, not just like gender, but also how they look, how they act. Bo thinks Shepard is a badass that will shoot people and intimidate people and punch the hell out of people, like a Kiefer Sutherland in 24 kind of character. My Shepard is generally looking out for people and trying to do good, and will be tough when she needs to, and but mostly is going to do the right thing. And yours is the default male Shepard because you couldn't be bothered. So it's. There's a wide variety. My Shepard's a sniper. Yeah. I don't think a lot of people played Shepard as a vanguard or a default soldier because they couldn't be bothered. Like there's a lot of.
I played as a soldier, but I did that for a reason because I was like a hardcore human that hated deviants. Right, like they're all just a pain in the ass, and I got to keep the universe together with all these crazy science people.
But so, John's
and if
point
you're going to give me too much trouble, I'm just going to shoot you in the face.
John's point holds because you're doing that. He's doing what he did. I did what I did. Other people do what they do because the game is literally a game where you are encouraged to make a bunch of changes, choose different paths, answer questions differently, go Paragon here, go Renegade there. Like the whole point of that game and its entirety is this system, right, of choice making and building out a better role playing experience. So everything you're saying, John, I understand, but let me sell you on something, and then you can come back with whatever rebuttal you got. Here's my sales pitch. Yeah. This is Amazon. They have more money than God mostly. So I'm not worried about budget. Here's the good news. The good news is The Expanse, one of the finest television adaptations of all time, is ending with its final season this coming season, and they're done. That entire production team, crew, producers, showrunners, all those people are freed up suddenly in their sci-fi TV making life, and they don't have The Expanse to be pounding on all the time anymore, which will stand alone and always be amazing, and everyone loves The Expanse. I don't see any reason why a group of that caliber couldn't take this source material, like they took the book source material from Leviathan Wakes all the way through Leviathan Falls, which just came out last week, the final book in the series, and take that material and make a great character-based, character-driven narrative experience set in the Mass Effect universe, even if that includes a dude or lady named Commander Shepard. I think they could do it specifically. So what I'm saying is right talent, right people. This is a slam dunk. If not, then I could see problems, because all these things you've said are legit, but I think that those guys can overcome the stuff that you've said and think Bo has said as concerns with just sheer talent for making great science fiction. So will it be perfect to your experience that you had? Probably not. Will it be perfect to the guy next to you? Probably not. That's the point of that game. Everybody has a slightly different experience, but the tone, the milieu, the texture, the world building, the characterizations, they can all still be there. The things that were consistent for everyone will still be there, or they could still be there with the right people. Okay, there's my sales pitch. Now you tell me why I'm wrong.
Okay, here's why a lot of what you said is true and ultimately is wrong. Here's what's gonna happen. Like, yes, you're right. Like, they have a talented crew. I believe they have the money, the budget, the ability to make something amazing. I'm with you. If they make the decision, and I think whether this is a successful show or not is going to hinge on this one decision. Is Shepard in this? If the answer is yes, I don't think there's anything they could do to make the show good. Anything. Wow. They could ask me to consult and say, we are going to make it exactly your Commander Shepard. And I don't think that would be the right decision for the show. They might get me on board. But so one of the things I will just oust myself. I love watching other people play through games that I've played. I've watched people do full run throughs of Last of Us and, parts 1 and 2. And I watch people play Final Fantasy. And it's one of the things I like to watch and see how other people interpret games I've played and stuff like that. Yeah. There's one series that despite my fandom for, I cannot watch somebody else play. And that is Mass Effect. And that's because as soon as I see somebody else with their Shepard, I go, I can't watch this. This is disgusting. Like, if they pick male Shepard right out of the gate, I'm instantly gone. If they pick female Shepard, I can go, okay. But then, next thing I know, they're romancing Caden or something insane like that, and I'm like, what are they doing? This is I know, right?
Yeah, no, Garrus all the way. That's the thing. I banged Garrus. You'll remember.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
The game.
And
I banged no one. I didn't feel good about sexing up any of the characters in the game. I never did that. Any of that full romance.
So stuff. It was sweet because I didn't bang anyone in the first 2. I got to 3 and I was like, I should make time for love. And I'm like, who do I like? I'm like, I think I like Garrus the best. I'm just gonna bang him. And I'm like, I don't think I'm gay. But I'm like, I love him the most, and let's go romance. Yeah, let's do this. Sharp edge boy, let's go. So it's gonna feel weird when the Shepard the show is like you said, romancing Kate. Like, what kind of monster romances Kate? Ugh.
And I don't think there's any universe where that feels good to Mass Effect fans. Now, in the chat room, Spiral Shape said non-Mass Effect fans might enjoy a Mass Effect series with Commander Shepard. Sure. And that's probably a decent amount of people, and maybe that's who it ultimately ends up being for.
And you'll watch it no matter what. Now, you're going to watch it, though, no matter what.
I will. No, if it has Shepard, I won't watch it at all.
You are absolutely going to watch that show.
No, I guarantee you, if they put Commander Shepard in the show, I won't watch it.
Wait, I've got a cross here for you. I'll be right back.
You're going to go bear one?
No, I have no interest in watching that show. Yeah. Like, if you're going to tell that story, there's a ton of stories in the Mass Effect universe they could do. In fact, one of the things that I think is a problem with Mass Effect and its storytelling is it goes so big for its culmination that it kind of hurts the ability to tell additional stories, and it kind of becomes the one story for the era it exists in. But they could tell the story of the First Contact War, and that could be badass. Make the Turians this big scary monster alien, and big fight where Earth is on the back foot for most of it, and Like, they could do so many cool things with that universe. The only thing they have to do is not put Commander Shepard in it.
I mean,
I don't think
one
they
thing
do
they
that.
have to do.
Yeah.
I don't think they do that. I think it ties into whatever new Mass Effect game they're working on. A new Mass Effect. I mean, if they're doing it right, maybe I'm just spoiled by Arcane at the moment. But if they're doing it right, it's going to be something that marketing wise ties into.
Yeah, and the new game's got, we think, Shepard getting a revival because Tally's walking around with his armor, and it's all hinted at. I mean, I can't. That early teaser couldn't be more clear about their intent to bring it all back to the Shepard verse.
It will be Shepard again.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you've got Liara. You do have her armor in it, but that doesn't mean Shepard's in it. But it means it's still tied to.
But
those things.
it's his N7 stuff. Like, you wouldn't do that in the teaser and have it be
That's
a big
a weird
reveal.
thing. Like, couldn't you just play as another character? Like, can't you be Danson, Commander Danson? Commander Ted Danson, like
Commander Ted Danson, runs the
like
bar.
like can't you just be a new commander? Like, what? Or is it just the franchise?
That's the way they go.
Is the franchise so locked to Shepard because that's how we experience the world that we can't play as another character? Like, that
I
seems
think
crazy.
they thought that they could get away from Shepard, and that they did with Andromeda. And then when that did badly, they said, "Oh, we can't." But I think that's learning the wrong lesson. I don't think Andromeda was bad because Shepard wasn't in it. But I have a feeling that there are people who just look at numbers and sheets and facts and go, Andromeda didn't have this Commander Shepard in it. Well, let's put Shepard in it. People seem to buy games with Commander Shepard. Let's do that. I just don't think they know. Like, Andromeda was a bad game that was buggy and it felt incomplete and it felt like crap.
What if you were Shepard's kid? Like, because the elusive man got hold of some of your sperm or eggs, and they made they made like a kid. So you're not like a naturally born kid. You're some gene farm born kid.
Yeah.
And Boba Fett, not Boba Fett, but clone style. You grow up in five short years. You're an adult, and then Liara and Talia are there, and they're like, one of them will say who they banged if so in your save file.
I mean, canonically, they had a clone of Commander Shepard in the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's right.
So,
that's right.
And you fought her or him, and so I mean, it's not hard for them to bring back Shepard.
You fought her or him. I love the emphasis that you gave that.
Or him.
All right,
or
so I got a couple things to say here. Number one, Laura for real in the chat room is killing me with this idea of making a Muppets Mass Effect because I am all in on that. I think that's an amazing idea, but that is never going to happen. Okay, second of all, here is a list of things that sound impossible, and yet they ended up working in spades.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
And then because I'm just saying I want to have some optimism here. Here's what I'm just short list. All right. In theory and on paper, Mad Max Fury Road shouldn't work. Instead, it's the greatest thing they ever did, and maybe one of the greatest films of all time, action films of all time. That's a good example. Another good example is The Expanse. The Expanse should have been really hard to translate to film, let alone television, and they killed it. They did a really great job with it. That's another example of that. There are plenty of these out there if you just dig around about things that shouldn't work. There's no way the whole world should be on fire about a League of Legends animated series. It just shouldn't happen. It shouldn't be as good as it is. And yet here we are. It's as good as it can be and more, and has put Riot on the map in a way that they have not been able to do for a decade and more, 15 years or more. So what I'm saying is it is possible to do this. It used to be thought impossible to make an Avengers film or an Iron Man movie or any of that stuff because they were B-tier characters only comic book readers even cared about, and no way that stuff's supposed to work. It's just not supposed to work. It's all supposed to be silly and bad. And yet, here we are, 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 miracles later, we got what we came for. I'm just saying there is a universe of time that we might live in where the right people with the right talent and the right effort can turn Mass Effect into something special, Shepard or not.
You know what, Scott? I almost agree with you. They can 100% do that as long as they don't put Commander Shepard in it.
Right.
It would be like making. Let's say you're going to make a movie based on the Choose Your Own Adventure novels.
Yeah.
And you put out a movie that's a linear story. There's no alternate endings. There's no cut scenes. It's just literally this. Don't you think everybody in the world would go, why is this based on choose your own adventure? It's just a linear story. It's just a story. It's just a movie. Why did it have to have this branding on it?
Yeah.
Like, that's Mass Effect. Everything you've named is based on something that has like a singular story to draw from. But Mass Effect isn't a singular story. Despite what the internet will tell you about those games having no ultimate meaning or choice in it, everybody's experience in that game is different. So you can't say we're going to do this because everybody thought it was something different. Your takeaway is completely different from mine.
Yeah. I think just to jump on that, we look at games as legitimizing, or movies as legitimizing games because it spreads it mainstream, like Arcane has, right? We sort of look at that as always a victory in the gaming space. But I think what Mass Effect has accomplished that really no other game has accomplished, I don't think narratively, is a highly complex interactive story that overall super succeeds, that makes the idea of a film version of it like, it's like driving a crazy awesome muscle car. I don't know what they're called, like a Charger, I think. And then being like, okay, why don't we redesign this Charger into a Beetle Volkswagen style? And you'd be like, I don't want that. I just want the Charger. Like the storytelling opportunities are so next level that it's like translating at 5, sophistication levels down, that actually contemplating a film version feels like a huge regression. And I think that's where John's coming from. And like, I'm inclined to agree. Like the film will not live up specifically to Mass Effect, because Mass Effect is the only game I can think of where I feel like I was Shepard for the duration of experiencing that.
Mm-hmm. And you were your own Shepard. I understand. I totally get that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So like I think John is right in that it's like trying to put Avengers Endgame on an Egyptian pyramid in hieroglyphs, like you're just like, I like the movie better than the hieroglyphs. Like the hieroglyph story, like the art's great, the hieroglyph art is great, but it just, the Avengers Endgame just works as film, and I'll just gladly stay there. Like I don't want the hieroglyph version.
But imagine you're somebody...
That's what I mean about a TV show. I think that's what he's getting at, and I see his point very much.
But what if you're somebody? Let's go back to Marvel for a second. You're somebody who grew up on the comics. You read through whenever that Thanos storyline happened, 80s, 90s, whenever it was.
Yeah.
The Gauntlet and all that. You read that and you got out of it whatever you got out of it. And at the time, Thanos was much more blustery, and he was like, "Yeah, the universe will bow to my blah blah blah." And he was just like one of those villains in the comic adaptation. And then this movie comes along. This 2-part movie comes along. He becomes the big bad of the MCU for a whole phase. And when we finally have to confront him, he's played by an actor who's got a much subtler touch when it comes to how he's going to deliver things. They do some interesting things with him physically, visually, that he wasn't like in the comics. And his delivery is very different. He's much more calm, much more like, this is just inevitable. Like, literally uses that word all the time. And it's done in a way that is like a way different experience than that comic book was. Or watching the Hawkeye series right now. It's based on Matt Fraction's work, but not really. Huge changes to it. Now, I realize we're taking what was a medium of a linear story and then changing it to another kind of linear story. And that's not the same as saying, I'm going to take this interactive story with all the choices that I made and make it linear. That is one big defining difference here. But yeah, I'm ready for someone to do it right and tackle it. I got a weird optimism about this because I don't disagree with your concerns. I just think it will be possible. And again, a lot of stars have to align for this to work, and the money's got to work and everything else. But I think it's possible for somebody to take this thing, and in the same way that you have Kirk, or the same you have Picard, or any other leader in space, you can figure out a way to make a great story about the legendary Commander Shepard. And it doesn't have to adhere to the exact stories that the games went through. It can be totally different stuff. It can be, who knows what it could be. It could be whatever. But what I'm saying is I'm at this stage enough excited about it that I don't want them not to try. I want them to do this so that we can see if this works or not. And if it doesn't, that's fine. Then we can then write it off, say, well, I guess nobody can handle this until another generation figures it out. But I just think there's a chance. And if there is, I love that world so much. I want to tune into that shit every week. and I want it to be good.
Well, if it's a good part of the marketing spend for the game, then I support it. But if it isn't, they should just keep that game for the development of their Mass Effect games or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, ultimately it doesn't matter to me. I think you're right. If we get something special, that's great. So if they make the effort, why not? Like, yeah, for sure.
I'd love to see. I'd love to see a great Mass Effect TV show. Like, I think that would be cool. I just don't think it can be. I don't think it can be Shepard's story. Like,
well,
what if
it comes out?
And when you say, like, what if they do something different? It doesn't have to be that story. Then why does it have to be Commander Shepard? Then put someone else in it. You can even put other characters in it because the other characters are canonical. And they evolve because of Shepard. So if you put it in, like, say, early, like pre-Mass Effect 1 days, maybe, you know, we've started to figure things out, but Shepard hasn't come on the scene just yet. You could put Garrus in the show, and it could make sense. You could even use the same voice actor because he's probably going to be a CGI man.
Yeah.
So, like, you could do a lot of cool things like that, and you could make a lot of people happy and still have the fan service without losing everybody because you tried to follow a narrative that isn't linear, and you tried to put in a character that isn't like Thanos. Like, I see what you mean about Thanos, but there are qualities that Thanos has.
Yeah.
There are not qualities that Commander Shepard has because sometimes Commander Shepard doesn't care what happens to innocent people. Sometimes Commander Shepard cares very much.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a defined personality. So you leave that one element out. And if you want to throw in a throwaway line where, like, you know, all the wings are reporting in and you have someone say, you know, Commander Shepard standing by it, great. You're only going to piss off 50% of the people if it's a man or a woman.
Right.
But, like, just go ahead and just leave Shepard out of it, and you can do whatever you want at that point, and then everybody gets to be excited because it is a cool universe and there's a lot of cool stuff in there. Just have to leave out one thing.
Okay.
And I think then it can be perfect.
Let me ask you this question. If it comes out and Shepard is the center of it, and it is overwhelmingly positively received by everybody, critics and fans and non-fans and critics who've never heard of the game, everybody loves it. Gamers love it. Everybody you know who had some of these same concerns are like, oh, was I ever wrong? What an amazing run. John, you got to watch those 10 episodes. Are you still not gonna because Commander Shepard's in it?
I mean, my interest isn't high, but I might end up watching it. Like, that's the thing, is everybody's looking at me and they're like, you're going to say you're never going to watch it? I say I'm never going to do a lot of things I end up doing. Like, I'm not so precious as to say, no, I've planted my flag and I'm never going to move from it. Yeah, in that highly improbable world, if everybody said I was wrong and I need to look at it, sure, I'd check it out.
All right.
I have a fear that my bias would be too strong, but I'd be willing to be proved wrong. Like, there's people that I trust. If Bo was like, dude, I know we talked about this, but they really made Commander Shepard awesome and you're going to like it, I'd be like, okay, well, Bo was skeptical too. Maybe I will give it a go. It needs to come from somebody that I trust. And, yeah, I just don't, it can't be done. Like, we're talking about a magical land. So it's just not going to be real. It's not going to happen. So make the show without Shepard and I get to be interested without achieving something impossible.
They're never going to make a movie or a TV show about a character from a MOBA that I'll actually care about that character, maybe even tear up a little bit about their story.
You think if you think it's not going to have Shepard in it, you're crazy.
Yeah,
like,
of course
what are the executives going to, like, the executive meeting, they're like, what's this Mass Effect thing? It's a science fiction show. Who's the main character? Commander Shepard. But we have this interactive storytelling, so we're not going to include the main character. It's
100%.
like, it's like making a Mario movie without Mario in it. Like, why are we, what? Like, you want us to give you money to make a TV show and not put Mario in the Mario movie?
Yeah, you're going to put
like,
Goomba in there?
Like, it's not happening. Like, I don't see that happening.
I think a Goomba should be the center of the Mario thing. And just not have, it'll be called Mushroom Kingdom, The Reckoning or whatever. It'll be a single Goomba.
It's called Mario Brothers, but no Mario in it. Like, why is it called like that?
That's not wrong, but that's such a, like, I feel like my take's jaded where I'm just telling people that it's impossible. But imagine a take where you're just like, that's not how business executives work. So we just need to accept that it's going to. No,
I agree.
How about we, for once, just make it really fucking clear, to everybody that, like, hey, we have strong opinions on this and it's not okay to do your typical studio bullshit because you actually ruin most of the stuff with what you do.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I'm on Team John. Like I support this.
I support you in theory.
Of Shepard.
I just have a weird optimism about it, and I don't know why I do. I will say this: like, I can't find any fault with the Kermit and Muppets idea. I don't know why. That
idea.
We're ready for that. That doesn't hurt the original property. It doesn't.
So wait. We have to delve into this hypocrisy. So if there's a Muppets Mass Effect and Commander Shepard's in it, you're gonna watch it no matter how bad it is.
100%.
100%.
And I don't care. I don't care which Muppet they get to play Shepard either.
I thought we were not putting Shepard.
They could do Rolf. They could do Animal. They could do Kermit. I don't care which Shepard is which Muppet is Shepard. I'm 100%.
Well, let's cast it real quick. Who's the girl with all the tattoos? She's got to be Animal, right?
Jack.
Yeah, Jack is Animal.
Yeah, that's good.
Let's see.
Oh, we're casting it Muppet style.
Yeah, so Kermit has to be Shepard because that's just the way it works. You can't have Piggy be. You don't want Miss Piggy to be Shepard, dude. Although they could be funny about it and have them swap places all the time and not explain why. That'd be funny.
Is Miss Piggy playing Ashley and then
Piggy would be a great
I don't remember her name. Miranda.
Miranda. Wait, can Piggy play who's the girl that's kind of creepy that's always saying, Commander Shepard, there's somebody on the thing for you. Commander Shepard, there's a deal in the butthole or whatever. And she tries to get you to but she creep me out.
Kelly?
Yeah, Kelly. Have her play Kelly and then never talk to her.
As Miss Piggy is Kelly?
That's a big Muppet name for a low-level flunky aboard the Normandy.
Yeah.
I don't
really demoted Miss Piggy.
The reason I say it that way is I'm not a huge Piggy fan, but it's fine. She can do whatever.
So is Bert Garris?
Hold on, Bert. They can't cross over with Sesame Street, can they? Or
why not?
No, I'm thinking of Fonzie.
Not Fonzie.
Fozzie.
Fozzie.
Yeah.
Oh,
We'll
okay.
put Fonzie in there. Hey.
Yeah, we'll get what's that guy's name?
You talking about Gonzo?
Henry Shrinkler.
What about Gonzo? Who would he play? Gonzo's in it. Make him. He's flying the ship. He's what's his name?
Oh, maybe Gonzo shouldn't Gonzo be oh shit, I forget.
Okay, so I have
to know two sets of names, and I'm struggling with both of them.
One of them's Fonzie.
I feel like I have a perfect casting decision for this movie.
Go. Let's hear it.
For this show or whatever it is.
All right, let's hear it.
So whenever they do a Muppet thing, there's always some real people in there.
Yeah.
Right.
Almost always.
So for Captain Anderson, you get
Henry
Keith
David.
David.
Keith David.
Yeah, you just put Keith David.
That's
in
amazing.
As Anderson.
That's amazing. Yeah. Except he's going to hardly be in it. Now, actually, I could go for just get Jennifer Hale to be Commander, female Shepard, FemShep. She's Shepard. Let her be Shepard. All the other Muppets have to be whatever.
Yeah, I like this. And Seth Green's in it too. Seth Green's got to be Seth Green.
Yeah, he's just in his Joker, just sitting in his chair.
So wait, who's Rex? We got to do.
Although Fozzie Bear as Joker would be good, because his name's literally Joker.
Is Beaker the Doctor
Morton Solus?
Yes! Oh shit! Dude!
Yes.
Dude, I want this so bad. But I want this for almost everything. I want a Mad Max Muppet thing. I want where Tom Hardy is the only human and everyone else is a Muppet. These always work. It doesn't matter what you do. It always works. It's one of the most genius things Jim Henson ever left with us is that we could do this to any property. And why we hold back, I don't know why. We got the Christmas thing, which is amazing. I love it. I love all the Muppet
we're holding
movies.
Back. We're holding back on the nukes and on the Muppets.
Oh, man. I'd be all into it.
Yeah, you're right, though. We are holding back. There should be more Muppet movies.
We'll see what happens. There's no date on this. All of it's speculation at this point, but it's fun to talk about. We'll talk more on the show.
Oh, I will also add, because we didn't talk about it, but it was part of this. The lead writer for Mass Effect also agrees with me. He said it's going to be very cringe.
Here's what he says.
That's why you're so passionate. You've got the man in your corner.
Let's see what David Gator actually said. Let's put it down in the history books. He says, "I'm relieved to see." So he starts off in a positive way. "I'm relieved to see the Mass Effect / Amazon deal is for a potential TV series and not a movie." I agree with him. TV's where you should do all these things. He says, "Even so, the possibility and likewise for Dragon Age also makes me cringe a little, unlike many fans who appear excited. Let me explain." And then he goes on to this thread and talks about a lot of the points you made about blank slate protagonist. It's your job to fill that in. you are Shepard. Your choices make Shepard into whatever Shepard's going to be. He says this. He says, if you think I'm wrong, consider just how much of the story is offloaded onto the companions. They are the ciphers through which the player gets most of their emotional engagement from. On their own, the DA and ME protagonists are, well, pretty boring, and that's not going to fly. I don't disagree with any of that. But, you know, Alan Moore thinks that I shouldn't get a V for Vendetta, and I'm glad we did. So I'm happy to hear this guy's opinion, but I think that this is bigger than him. It's not his little personal story.
I think it's that the fact that it's just our experiences are very personal, and it just by defining a canonical, single storyline, you're shitting on our experiences. But
I guess just in closing, my one point is it doesn't surprise me that vanilla male Shep soldier guy over there is the one person who's optimistic that they could pull this off.
Shut up! It really is that guy saying that? Is he? Oh, you mean because that's what I chose? Look, no. Hey, for the record, my first game I ever played was 2. I didn't play 1 in the original thing. I played it since on the redo. When I made my Shepard, I didn't do a female Shepard, but I made a psycho-looking, half-bald, huge nose, jacked-up chin, effed-up-looking Shepard. So all he had was Shepard's voice, and everything else you do with Shepard. But he looked like a ghoul.
You default faced him.
No, I did in 3, but not in 2. I was not really precious about.
Oh, you didn't play the same character
for no reason.
No, I played that on Xbox. Played the other one on PC. There was no crossover there.
No wonder you don't care about this as much.
I know I do care, and I get why people care.
Yeah, but you didn't like. If I would have played 3 and it couldn't look like my character from 2, I would have not played it. Like that was a continuation of the story. It was very important.
Yeah.
For some of us, not for everyone. You played 3 and you were fine with the, but if I would play with it, I'm like, that's not the same character. I want to play the character I made. It was, maybe for some of us who push our glasses up onto our face too hard, like it's important. And then we've got, people like, what's new on Netflix this week? Sweet Commander Shepard. Yeah. And then they're going to tell you all about what Commander Shepard's story is. And you're going to be like, no, that's not Commander Shepard.
Yeah, it's not my Shepard. In fact, I can't wait for that hashtag, not my Shepard. That's going to happen. Yeah. That's going to happen. I'm calling it now. Whenever this show premieres that night, hashtag not my Shepard on Twitter.
Yeah, no matter, you know what, even if it's the best show in the world, there's going to be an armada of people, Shepardons who are like, not my Shepard. And there's going to be an army of anti-Sheps or, well, no.
You know what I want more good science fiction serialized television is what I'm really after, and I think that's overweighing these concerns for me, and they're valid. Everything you've said, 100% valid. I agree with a lot of it. I just really want someone to figure out how to crack that egg, because I just want more of that stuff. And I'd also like to see somebody finally get the video game translation right. Everybody tries movies. I think movies are the wrong format. This is where me and this David dude agree 100%. Television is a far better place to put your book, your television, your comics. I like the spread that you can get out of that. Like, I'm actually hearing really great things about Wheel of Time so far. And another Amazon joint, that seemed impossible sounding prior to this. That's 12 books, 2 of which, however many Sanderson wrote when Robert Jordan died. That's a mess. That's a mess to try to do and adapt and get done. And it's big and it's broad and it's expensive and it's all those things. But somehow they're pulling it off. Again, narrative to narrative, but changes will be made. Some fans won't like everything. Someone somewhere is going to crack the game to TV thing. And when they do, there's a lot of money to be made. It could be Halo. We could already say it's Arcane. Arcane maybe is the best example ever so far. And it means great things for the future. So I remain optimistic, but you guys have some valid points. A lot.
I think it's already been cracked, for the record. I just think studios are too stupid to figure it out, which is the greatest thing that movies can borrow from video games is you take the setting, you take the aesthetic, you take the art, you take the style, and then you craft story and character.
Yeah, but you got to have Mario in your Mario game.
Right, but that's the problem. Like that you let that go. Well, now Mario's a different example because Mario is the character.
Okay,
like it just depends on what you're talking about.
Say
Mass Effect is a fantastic universe, but Shepard is a blank slate. I get people who are saying studios will say Shepard needs to be in this. Yes, of course they will. They're dumb. But the strength of Mass Effect is the universe.
Yeah.
Like, that universe is extremely well crafted, well thought out. It has a lot of cool things, and it could be expanded in a million different amazing ways. They just have to take those elements out and put that in the show, and then build a good show around those elements, instead of going, well, let's try and copy what we can from the story and the characters here. There's not enough there. That's the difference between video game and TV show.
And I'd cite as an example in support of that would be the Doom movies, the Doom movie. You know, Doom guy is a voiceless
Doom
characterization.
DOOM. Got it. Okay. Yeah.
But like Doom, what was it? Judge Dredd played Doom. There's like was there two Doom movies or just one?
There's just one, and it's The Rock who's in that.
Well, but Rock is not the Doom guy. It's
Carl Urban.
Oh, Carl
Urban. Yeah, and he's great, but I'm just like, this is not Doom. This is like Doom coded Hollywood set. It's trash.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's not a good film. It might be an okay film. It's not, because the Doom character is meant to be voiceless. It's you, and like, the more you endow something with meaning, the more you remove people from the feeling of connection that they have with something.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a lot of characters like, I mean, I'd argue Mario's that. Mario's just an abstraction. Mm-hmm. Doom guy is just an abstraction. Even as much as I love the B.J. Blazkowicz stuff and the new Wolfenstein, he's kind of characterized in a way that I like. There's an aspect to games that doesn't translate well to everyone because it's not common understanding, where these things we're controlling are just abstractions for us. Mm-hmm. And like, while some of these RPG styles have rich stories, the ones that try to put you in that place, the abstraction, is special. When it succeeds, it's special. It feels like, I like that about the new Doom. There's barely any dialogue. Metroid's like that. Metroid, she only has like 2 lines of dialogue in the entirety of Metroid Dread. And I think that's important. Like, I think that's an aesthetic to reach for. So imagine a world where Haley Stanfield is Samus and she has 500 lines of dialogue. Like, I don't want to watch that movie. That's not what that is,
Yeah, but I'd take a movie where she only spoke twice. It just happens to be Haley Steinfeld and she's in the suit.
I would take that. But like, that's where the people who make the art have to understand what's important about the franchise. And I just watched Cowboy Bebop, and the show, it's like a shell of, I went back to the anime, and I'm like, it's really missing out the soul of what made it good. Mm-hmm. But it looks real slick, and it's a good TV show. It's nice to watch, but it doesn't make me feel the way that Cowboy Bebop makes me feel, the anime. But I would cite as a good example the Ghost in the Shell film. I felt captured the feel of the animated thing, and I think that's that's what you're saying, Scott. You're saying, I know somebody can do this good, but I think 80 to 90% of all film productions that are adaptations miss the mark. It's rare when something's special. That's what makes Arcane good. I agree. And so money, like, it's just on sheer probability, money's on John being right no matter what.
Yeah.
But I hope for the best when anything comes out. I wanted to love the Transformers films. I still do, but I know they're utter shit. But I still like watching them.
Bumblebee was good. I like Bumblebee. Bumblebee was smart.
Bumblebee was all right, but that's like 6 movies later when they finally got Michael
I
Bay
agree.
out there.
I agree. Speaking of Haley Steinfeld, but yeah, I don't disagree with that. And if I was to put money on this, I would bet on John. But I want to be wrong on this one, and I want to be wrong at the level that everybody's been about comic books until we hit it and we finally figured it out. And I know it's not the same medium. I'm not making that claim, but I just think there's a creative path there, and it might take forever to get there. And games maybe we haven't paid enough dues to get there yet. But like, I want to see.
Maybe they should do the interactive storytelling. I haven't tried, like, what is it, Bandersnatch or something? Like this, interactive.
Yeah. I mean, some of that stuff is. I mean, imagine on the level of Mass Effect, though, how much work that would. I mean, you basically be making Mass Effect.
Be
right?
Insane. Yeah.
Yeah, it's too much.
But without buttons.
Yeah, without any. Well, you just your remote, I guess. You'd have 2 or 3 choices, and then he would do whatever he did. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like, the future's pretty wild if you want to really get into that discussion. But as a practical matter, sure, this will probably be not great, but Then again,
it could be. Everything has the potential to be amazing. Matrix Resurrections might be the best film of all time, dethroning Mad Max Fury Road.
oh man,
You know?
I don't know how, but maybe it's possible.
I'm such a fanboy that like my expectations are way over the line at this point. I'm like
how
in
did
my
they-
mind, it's already the best movie ever, but I know that's not true because I haven't seen it
That's
yet.
why I think about Blade Runner. I just don't know how they pulled it off. I don't know how they made a great follow up to Blade Runner, and they did, and it's amazing. And I can't
Blade
get enough of it.
really good.
I really like Dune in the same way. Like there's these efforts that I know with the right creativity, the right people, and hopefully the right suits moving out of the way, there's all kinds of possibilities. The streaming world has really opened things up. 10, 15 years ago, Arcane doesn't happen. It doesn't exist in that world. Nobody's taking any chances like that. But they take them all the time now. Why? Yeah. Well, the money's flowing like honey, but also everybody wants to try to get in on a hot thing, and they'll take chances. And I don't know. This could be one of those. This could be a total failure. We'll have to wait and see.
Where's my Space Quest TV show?
Damn it. That
There's a universe that's untapped.
Yeah, that'd be
strangely.
All right. Yeah, weird. I can't imagine why. Hey, I don't know if you knew this last time you used Good Old Games, but they're losing money. I don't know if they've ever made money, actually, which is
I didn't know that. That was news to me.
It's a little bit of a it's a little bit of a, what do you call that? Not loss leader, but where CD Projekt makes their money is their games. So they make money on The Witcher, and they make money on Cyberpunk, and they make money on whatever.
It seems like they're making a big effort to be more mainstream, right? Because it used to be the whole old DRM game, like, don't go to shady sites to get abandonware. Come get your old DRM free games. From us, your old CRPGs that used to serve a niche. They still do, but they definitely became flooded with like mainstream like it felt like they were trying to be Steam.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's working for them, because I think the key thing about this is they're re-strategizing to go back to what their core business
That's
is.
what it sounds like. I mean, the thing launched in 2008. At the time, they offered a collection of older games without DRM. Since then, it says in this article, they slowly morphed into competing with the likes of Steam and Epic Game Store. Quote, alongside these changes we've initiated through organizing GOG's operations, we believe that all of the changes we are introducing will allow GOG to focus more on its core business and improve its financial effectiveness in 2022. The company also confirmed, we were going to talk about this too, but the major next-gen updates for Cyberpunk's 2077 will launch alongside or will happen in Q1 of 2022, and will include a bunch of fixes and stuff too. So I don't know, maybe we've talked about this ad nauseum, but maybe Cyberpunk will hit its stride next year. I don't know.
It's kind of weird. I was thinking about Cyberpunk the other day, and it's kind of a game to me that feels like came out in early access and we're not to full release yet, even though it's not true. But that's like that's the apartment it lives in my brain, is the same as like a early access game where I was like, yeah, it came out and boy, it needs a lot of work. I'll come back to it at some point and maybe it'll actually run, and maybe they'll have fixed a lot of the stuff that was wrong with it. And it's really weird to think of a fully released game that way, but I guess that's actually kind of the way games work these days.
It might be worth waiting, because apparently this top modder who does VR mods is working on CP 2077 next. And I gotta say, like, take out the open world stuff and take it, like, combat's okay. I enjoyed playing it very much. The actual narrative experience is super fun. Like, it is really good, like there are some really high moments in there where you're immersed. Like, I'm lost in the story. I forget that it's a video game and I'm playing, and involved in it. So when it's hitting really good. Yeah. Anyways, you might want to experience it in VR is what I'm trying
That's
to say.
That's a game, by the way, that's a game in a world. Well, Cyberpunk is a world that existed long before the game that would really benefit, I think, from some good narrative television / something approach. It doesn't have a Master Chief. It doesn't have a Commander Shepard. You can make whatever you want in that world.
They did. There's I don't know if they canceled it or not, but there was supposed to be an anime.
I'd be into that.
Announced one. They announced it a year before. Like, it's been a while ago. I don't know if that's still on, but there was an announced Cyberpunk anime series.
Let's see, Cyberpunk. Let's see. There's a bunch of theme stuff. Obviously, there's a ton of
Cyberpunk 2077 anime.
Right. It was specific to the game, right?
Oh, and they were getting Studio Trigger right. They made Kill la Kill and log on. Like, this is my one of like my favorite studio is involved in this.
And Edge Runners, it's called.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk Edge Runners, Cyberpunk 2077 coming 2022. It hasn't come out yet. So.
Anime reveal.
Netflix.
Wait a sec.
Cool, man. I'll watch this. Oh yeah, look at that. Okay. There's a trailer and shit. Oh, it's mostly directors and stuff talking about it.
It's directors talking, yeah. And this was June 25, 2020. So the game hadn't launched then. So I imagine it must have. I think it's already been in production, so they're probably still working on it.
Yeah, it says here.
If I had to guess, along with an update or an expansion pack, we'll see this come up as a hype package.
Yeah, and all eyes are on Netflix right now for game to series stuff. It's just happening at a rapid pace. There's all sorts of stuff coming. A Halo series, and I forgot some. What do you call it? I forgot the name of it. It is
Trigger. Trigger is awesome.
Yeah, they're really good. Anyway, Netflix coming 2022. They don't give a month, but there is a poster. So, all right, we'll watch for that. That sounds great. I'm into that. That'll be cool. Finally, the Marvel MMO that none of us thought would ever get made. It might be being made right now, and it's in development from Daybreak Studios, or Daybreak-owned studio. Formerly, this is Sony Online Entertainment. They're the folks who made City of Heroes. Well, the lead designer is the guy that was design lead on City of Heroes. He is here as well. This is also the team that makes the DC Universe game, which people quite like.
And EverQuest Online, right?
Yeah,
EverQuest
all that stuff. Yeah,
all those.
But specifically, I think it's the DC Universe DCU team, creatively anyway, that is primarily working on this. And DC Universe is cool. That's a good MMO. It's fun.
Yeah, I have sunk a lot of hours into DC Universe Online. I also played a lot of City of Heroes.
Yeah.
So that is some crazy good pedigree for now being in a universe that I'm more attached to than DC. And I'm worried that I'm going to have another MMO that I'm hooked on, and I don't know if I want it, but I am really, really excited for what it could be in a modern sense. Like this is really exciting for me.
Yeah, this has big potential for sure.
I didn't know DC Universe Online existed, and I just opened up some gameplay, and there's like 2 Supermans hanging out. Like you just play as the heroes online in an MMO, and there could be multiple.
No. You make your own hero in the game. Okay. So you go into a creator.
Oh, but you just might make something that looks like Superman. So
yeah. So you can get kind of close, but not too close. Like they're pretty good about that. But you can go in and say, all right, I want to be acrobatic based. So you're like Batman, and you got a lot of gadgetry and stuff, but you don't have powers. Or you can fly and do all. You can pick all this kind of City of Heroes style stuff that they used to do as well.
You can do a lot of mix and matching too. So like my hero in that, I decided to be as OP as possible. So I was a Kryptonian on Earth that got chosen to be a Green Lantern. Mm-hmm. So I had all the powers of Superman and also a Green Lantern ring, and it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's cool. Wow. It's actually a fun game. It went free to play at some point. It's supposed to be pretty fair in that regard as far as those kinds of things go. I've not looked into it in a long time, but been tempted a couple of times. The community's still pretty strong. It's got its player base and interest. So yeah, making a proper Marvel MMO sounds exciting. I don't like what they did with their Diablo Marvel that pissed me off. They just unceremoniously killed that thing when it was kind of at its height.
Yeah, that's a travesty. Marvel Heroes is awesome.
It was awesome. So I have some worries like that, and Disney Marvel's known for pulling plugs on shit prematurely. So I don't know. Maybe there's room to be worried, but I'm legit interested in what a next generation hero based MMO looks like in the Marvel universe. It could be really cool.
Yeah, I'm just shocked that this isn't a trend that we've seen more of. I mean, everybody's doing their fantasy MMO. I don't know. I'm happy to see MMOs coming back somewhat, because that is something that used to be constant. Now it has just kind of disappeared, and now we're starting to see a resurgence of MMOs, and it's a genre I really like. And superheroes in general always felt like a perfect fit for an MMO, and I was always a little surprised that we didn't get more of those. So
yeah,
I'm excited for both those things.
It's almost like the gargantuan elephant in the room has shifted to the right a little bit, and everybody's got some room for possible movement in there in the MMO space.
Yeah, you can breathe.
How many people canceled before this Blizzard stuff really started picking up? Like they canceled their MMOs like 6 months ago, and they're like, "Why do we cancel shit?"
Well, I think a lot of people are finding themselves for the first time legitimately and truthfully looking at these other MMOs with an eye of not being so jaded about, well, there's only one MMO and it's wow, all this other stuff's a pretender. I'll poke in there, but I'm out of there as soon as this new expansion drops. I think that attitude has changed, and people are like, what else are people doing? Oh, well, Final Fantasy's doing some really interesting stuff. So is ESO. So is this game. So is this game. Guild Wars 2 still going strong. Got an expansion coming. Like, I can't believe they're doing all these cool ideas that we've been begging Blizzard to do, and they haven't done them. Here's player housing. Here's guild housing. Here's blah, 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 all the features everybody wants. And I think once you start it's the typical bubble concept. As soon as you pop your head out of that bubble, you're like, there's a whole other world happening. So I think that's just happening right now. And, it doesn't, the Blizzard stuff, the messy Blizzard Activision messy stuff is certainly not making any of this easier for them to avoid this problem. But I think there's a window now.
Yeah.
I don't think any players went to EVE Online.
Maybe.
Well, maybe, but yeah, it's not.
EVE
Not
Online
as one-to-one as maybe other MMOs.
Unless you're a certain kind of player, that'll shut the door in your face pretty quick.
They're still the top money-making business in all of Iceland. Like, they're still huge. They just their own walled off.
Yeah, they're
place.
fine. I just always, when I think of the context of like MMOs and doing well, and I'm like, and there's EVE Online. Yeah. A game, it's too hard for anyone to play, but a certain group of people that are religiously committed to playing that game because it takes commitment.
Yeah, it definitely does.
You know they're playing them because they have those crazy big space battles. So
yeah, they're in there having weird corporate space wars and losing real money, and I love those stories, but I never play that.
And it shows up in gaming press all the time. Like, not a year goes by where like a random article about whatever's happening in EVE Online surfaces. To be like, just can you believe what's happening in this game? And I'm like, oh, I like that we have dispatches from the Warfront.
Yeah, there's apparently they're doing good. They have a mobile version of that game now, and I guess it does okay. I guess it's been.
I saw that. I saw there's a and I'm like, do I even want to bother trying? Like,
I downloaded it and then never play it, and then eventually deleted it. But it was all what I saw looked nice. I just didn't play it. So
it's just
anyway, there are games that don't want you to play it, but you do anyway. Chat room brings up Elite Dangerous, similar kind of experience. It's like they go kind of out of their way to make things hard sometimes to get in there or to buy new content from them or to use their existing content. In my case, they straight up just say, I don't own the game, even though I bought it. It's weird, but yet people want to play them. So, well, good luck, Marvel, with all you got going on. All right. Time for a Dear Martha Amazon games review.
Yeah, we actually have two.
We do
this week. Yeah, I needed to balance it out because this week's really weird. We have two people that probably shouldn't be reviewing games for completely different reasons. One extremely wholesome and one extremely awful. So
great. I can't wait to find out which is which. So here we go. Let's find out what the dude on the Warfront has to say to his wife at home about these games. Here you go.
My dearest Martha, I present to you now my review for Forza Horizon 5. 1 star. Threw it in the trash because they've gone woke. They force you to choose your pronoun. He/him, she/her, they/them, and your character is allowed to wear a face mask, which makes absolutely no sense. Yours in this life and the next, Katie.
Yeah, F whoever that is, because welcome to games everywhere. They're all doing this, so here's
screwed. The thing that's depressing. 24 people found that review helpful.
Yeah. Well, it's because the only option you have in there is, what do you have? You have helpful and not helpful? What's the other option? There isn't one, is there?
Helpful and report abuse.
Oh, okay. So I hate that metric. It's not enough. I need an up or down, right? Because if there's a down that isn't just straight up report abuse, then you'll get to see how hideous that is. But I guess YouTube just removed that. You can't do up or down anymore. Anyway,
I've heard they're getting rid of the dislike button. I don't know if it's gone.
I don't know if that's good.
No, they're getting rid of the count. You can still dislike videos.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But they won't show. So if people review bomb something, you won't know. There won't be no public badge of shame on, say, Coca-Cola's video or.
That's
or whatever.
exactly what I was gonna say. I'm glad you went there. I was gonna say that sounds like something to cater to corporations and not to people using your platform.
It's totally, because you can work around it. I think the comments still have up or down, and someone could just type downvoted, and then a billion people could downvote it and be shown as a top comment.
Yeah.
Except the user has moderation tools, so in theory those could be hidden or removed.
Sure. Real quick.
So everyone just have to type downvote. Just
Sure.
Anyway.
The way I look at these, Adhesive Wombat says it in the chat. General Snowflake riding from the front lines of the culture war. Yep, that's what that review was. All right. Also, just how's it race? How's it feel to play the actual racing in the game? Was it fun?
Well, and what does it matter? They give you the ability to choose. Who cares? Wouldn't you want that as an option? Like,
who cares?
It doesn't. They have character customizable features in the video game. How dare they?
How dare they? Even though he has the choice of doing none of it. He doesn't have to do any of it. Dick. All right, moving on. Number 2. Let's restart the clock here. Hold on.
This one's more wholesome. We'll end on a good note.
All
A
right.
palate cleanser.
Here we go.
My dearest Martha, I present to you now a review for Minecraft Dungeons. Martha, my nephew told me that's what he wanted for his birthday. When he got it, he told me that it looks like fun. 5 out of 5 stars. Yours in this life and the next. Donna T.
I really like that one.
That was very wholesome.
Yeah.
I like that one a lot.
It's like a little grandma. So thrilled that he likes what he got. That's all.
Like,
he
no,
he
he doesn't even like it.
Oh,
they gave it a 5-star, and he wanted it, got it, and he said, "Yes, this looks like fun." 5 out of 5. Nobody.
Oh, you mean like he said thank you for the gift, not like this looks terrible.
Yeah.
Right. It's just this looks like fun.
Yeah.
I feel bad. I gotta play Zelda. I got Zelda for my birthday. I barely played it.
Zelda. Oh, you need to play Breath of the Wild and then tell me what you think about breakable weapons. Get in there.
I'm having a hard time being interested.
You know what? Me too. People say that game is amazing, and I believe them, but I have yet to be able to convince myself to play it.
I feel like there's a hump I gotta get over, like a 30-minute hump or an hour hump.
Yeah, you got to get into it. I also feel like that game.
People pay good money for that.
That game's great on any way you play it, but I feel like that's a sit on the couch on with a big TV and the lights down and that kind of experience. Yeah. Whereas mobily, you're like, I don't want to get into a big adventure on here.
I mean, I've got a Switch. I could chill and play it, but I'm playing stupid Wild Rift.
Yeah, which is not stupid.
Wild
Rift is good, man. All right, we'll talk about that and all that other stuff right now. Guess what I did? I got back into Final Fantasy.
Where we all played the same games between the three of us.
We really did. This is weird. I'm not used to syncing up with you guys like this as much as we have this week, but I played Final Fantasy 14 again and decided that I needed to do it, and I did it. So I got in. No boost this time. I started a new character. I said to myself, you know what, Scott? Even if I'm going to ignore all the old talk about, Realm Reborn for the time was amazing, but it's it's long in the tooth now, and the best stuff comes later. Heaven's Word and Forward and all that. Fine, whatever. I'm not going to forget about all that. I'm just going to experience it, get the story bits, learn these characters. No boosting. Boosting made me skip a whole bunch of shit. I don't have any idea why these people are here, who they are, what's going on, and I don't think it was fair for my $12 a month or $15 a month to skip all of that. So I'm not doing it this time. So I hit level 26 yesterday. Everything's on maintenance right now because the expansion comes out tomorrow. Right?
Yes. Well, for early access, it does.
Oh, is it Endwalker Eve?
Yeah.
Endwalker Eve.
The server.
Oh, this is a special day. Why we could have pushed the show if you needed.
Well, I can't play. The servers are down. Yeah. We don't have anything to do until 1 a.m.
Yeah,
or
it's
2
all
a.m.
You're staying up all night. You guys staying up all night?
No, I'm gonna go to bed at like as soon as the show ends and wake up.
Call
very
yourself
early.
gamers. Your expansion's coming out. You're not up at 1 a.m.
Well,
playing.
I'm level
It
26.
isn't up at 1 a.m. It's up at 2 a.m.
Yeah, it's up
And
at
if
2
I
a.m.
sleep early, I can be up around then.
Yeah, and you have a baby
Maybe
and
I'll
stuff.
still be asleep.
Yeah, you have a baby and things like that. See, the way I look at it is it's not going to really benefit me anyway. I'm playing a brand new character and I'm way in the old content because my goal is to do what John did. I'm going to work from there and go all the way to the top. That's what I'm going to do.
It's okay, Scott. Everyone can celebrate Endwalker's Eve. We don't.
That's true.
We don't gatekeep people. Just because you're a noob in Final Fantasy doesn't mean you can't celebrate.
You know what? John actually saved my ass this run because I remember him saying this when I started and I confirmed it later with him. You don't have, especially in the old stuff, you do not have to pay attention to any side quests at all unless you want to. Yeah. You can just go story to story to story and level at the right clip and be ready for stuff as it happens and be ready for the duty when it pops and get ready for the whatever. You're going to move to a new continent. You're not going to suddenly be under leveled, like all of that stuff. That's once you accept that idea and just wash some of the old WoW ideas out of your head about how stuff's supposed to work. It's kind of refreshing. It's like, oh, I'm making great time in here. I'm doing well. Everything's happening at a great clip. I'm enjoying the story moments, and I feel the progression again because since I didn't skip anything, I'm getting weapons and gear that fit me. I went DPS this time, so I didn't have to try to pretend to be a good tank.
Oh yeah, what are you playing as? That's
Archer, and then I'll go on to whatever.
Bard. You're gonna play music like Bo.
Oh yeah, probably a bard. I really like ranged combat, and I really like the archer generally speaking. I'll probably like the bard fine. I could also go machinist, it said.
Yeah, I don't remember what level you have to be for machinist. Oh, you have to get to 60 because you have to pick it up from the expansion zone. So you have to actually get to the expansion zone.
Yeah, which is fine.
But yeah, ranged, you've got bard, you've got machinist, you've got dancer.
Mm-hmm. I don't want to dance.
Physical. Let me tell you, dancers are really fun.
That's what I keep hearing, but I can't dance.
You dance people to death, man. How I don't. It's really not cool. There's no situation where it's cool. It's just a very fun class to play.
Yeah, I'll probably dabble because the idea of jumping around and trying all the jobs at some point seems interesting to me. But at this moment, I'm just having fun shooting arrows at shit, and it's a pretty basic rotation and stuff, and I like the combat. I keep wondering when I'm in public duties if I'm pissing people off with the very flashy AoE ability that they have at level something. I don't know.
Most people turn off spell effects for other people.
Okay, that I probably should do that. And it's good to know that they can control that. So what they're seeing from me isn't annoying them because that one ability, it's like a freaking seizure monster. It's just insane.
You hate to hear that, though. I want people to see my cool stuff.
Yeah, right? You don't ever want to hear they can turn off your cool
Yeah,
stuff.
it's like, look at my badass move. And then they're like, what badass move?
The nice thing is you do have a level of control. So you can say, you can pick for everybody, you can pick for your party. So if you want to be able to see your friends' spell effects, you can do that. And you can do limited where it just tones them down. And you can also do completely off where you don't see them at all. And Kyle, I played with him the other night, and he likes to keep all the effects on, even though he knows he can turn it off. And he goes, oh, I forgot John's a dancer, which means I'm going to be blind for this whole thing because dancers are extremely flashy. So it's just right up where he's tanking. He just sees bright colors going off every couple of seconds from me.
Yeah.
But hey, that's the cost of being beautiful and dancing.
That's
so
true.
What are you going to do?
Having a great time, though. I'm in Udall now. I made one of those demon dudes with the horns and they
You got to see Dancing Pope because you're on the new server now.
I am on the new
Did
server.
You see the Dancing Perp?
No,
Pope?
not yet. Perp? Dancing Perp. Whoa. No, where is Dancing Pope? What city? Where am I supposed to go to see this?
He's in Ul'dah. He's always dancing on the stairs next to the big aetheryte in Ul'dah.
All right, I got it. I'm actually
parked there. Is that a player who's doing that?
Yeah, it's a player.
He's an enigma. He is somehow always logged in. He doesn't get kicked for being AFK, which he should be, but he's always on. He's always dancing. He's always in the same outfit. And
right?
He's just got a Pope hat and he's got sexy pants and he just dances. And that's all he does all day.
I'm into it. Yeah.
What's his name?
Yeah. Wait, you have a name?
I don't know. We call him Sexy Pope.
Don't you see players' names over their heads? Though?
Yeah, and I know he has one, but when your name is technically Sexy Pope, you don't remember the other name.
You should turn on names so you can see Scott's character's name of Torn Underpants.
Yeah, it's not Torn Underpants. It's Worn Underside. Thank you very much.
Oh, sorry.
It is not Torn Underpants, although that's pretty good. My character's name is Worn Underside, and I like to name characters dumb things, and so I did. And he's fun. My problem with that, only problem with that race and that character is the way they stand when they're sort of just standing. They look like they have diarrhea and they're trying to hold it.
Oh, I can fix that.
How?
So type /C pose.
Yeah.
And your character will change how they stand when they're idle.
Oh, really?
There's a whole bunch you can cycle through.
That game's got a lot of stuff in it. There's a lot of little things in that game. Anyway, it's great. I'm having a ball. So
you in it for the long run, Scott?
I think so. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep pounding away. I mean, I say that. Who knows? I just looking at this DCU again. I was watching video over here, and I'm like, oh, I forgot how cool that game. I'm gonna have to get in there. And I do. I still love poking around on everything else, but I'm kind of drawn back in on this pretty hard at the moment, and it's almost not all I played this week, but it's a big part of what I played.
I mean, I think the big thing is just take it slow, play at your own pace. And so when you told me you were going to get back into it, I really had a hard time telling you what to do because I originally said, hey, transfer your character. It's free transfers. But apparently they stopped that when they allowed people to be making characters on our old data center again.
Yeah.
So you couldn't get in for free and you were like, well, I don't know what to do. Should I make a new character or should I just pay for the move over? And I guess the way I would finally put boosting, because I would say that Final Fantasy fans, myself included, can sometimes be a bit overzealous in apostatizing this game. Like, you get very into it. Yeah, crazy, right? And everybody has an idea of what the right, quote unquote, right way to play is. And, you will get so much flack for boosting and skipping story and stuff like that. And I didn't want to do that to you because I think as long as you're playing and you're happy, like whose business is it to tell you that you're doing it wrong, even if you think that person's doing it wrong. And so I think the analogy that I would finally land on is if you boost through a Realm Reborn to start at Heaven's Ward, you are basically saying, okay, I'm going to watch Star Wars for the first time, but I'm going to start with Empire Strikes Back. You can do that. Mm-hmm. It's possible. And you can get something out of it, and you're going to get what most people consider the best Star Wars movie, but you aren't going to appreciate it at the same level as somebody that's watched A New Hope.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah. I get it.
And so I think, to me, ultimately, that's how I feel about boosting. And that's the comparison I would ask people if they're like, hey, should I boost or not? Because I've heard A Realm Reborn is boring. And I would just say, well, do you think you would appreciate Empire Strikes Back without seeing A New Hope? And if your answer is I'd be fine with that, go ahead and boost. And if your answer is I don't think I'd like that, then you should play through A Realm Reborn.
Because I got past where I was in Realm Reborn when I did the boost before and then skipped ahead and missed everything. And I got past there already at 26. And as soon as I did, it was just like one duty I had to do, and then I would be past it to the next bit of the story. It's where I boosted. I went and finally did that duty, had a ball in there, great group, had a good time, get out on the other side, and a whole bunch of cool story shit happened almost immediately, and met a bunch of characters I didn't know about. I forgot the name of the group that I'm helping right now. The Shadow Circle Hand of Namda or some dumb name. The names in there are so dumb. Yeah. But whatever it was. I'm helping them now, and I didn't even know about them. Like, it's all news to me. So I'm having a better flow this time. It's paced better for me. And part of this, again, is just getting out of your head this idea that all old content is crap because that's how MMOs go. No, that's how WoW was. WoW was always great expansion. Loving it. Oh, there's a new one? F that last one. Never going there again. Hey, oh man, do I have to level through there again with my alt? Like, you never wanted to go back there, and they never made it compelling to go back there. This actually feels like I got reasons to be there, and it feels like there's still care being taken to make sure that's a good experience. So I'm not. This isn't a bash against WoW. It's just a different way of doing it, and I didn't know MMOs did it differently for a long time. A lot of people probably can commiserate with what I'm saying. I'm enjoying it, having a good time. Can't wait to roll with you guys on some stuff as I get further. It's going to
be fun.
Yeah, it should be fun,
especially as everybody gets caught up. But it's also really easy to run old content with people. So
that's true.
I did that with Kyle as he was going through some stuff. So. The only problem I have is I play at weird times and nobody's ever on when I'm on because I play when baby's asleep. But I like running that content and letting people play it and getting into it. And it's going to be a good time because the expansion's tomorrow.
That's true. I did have a funny experience, though. I forgot I was going to tell you this. I ran a duty, which is a dungeon for those wondering why I keep saying duty. If you're playing the game, that makes sense. But if not, anyway, I'm running this duty with a group. Bunch of randos. This was before I did the new characters. My old character on the other server. I was just kind of getting back in, and I forgot which button or which ability was like my main stance to build aggro button.
Oh right, because you were a tank before.
Yeah, because I was tanking. I just could not for the life of me to remember because they kind of have one that sort of radiates all the time while you're in there. It's actually kind of a cool system. So instead of one or two abilities that are always having to be on rotation to get enmity, as they put it in there, to get everybody to attack you, you kind of have one that's always pulsating for most of the tank classes. And then you have some others to supplement it if things go crazy or whatever. But I couldn't find it. And we got through this fight because a couple of those people seemed to be in a hurry, and we wiped. And this one guy goes, in total old school WoW fashion, goes, "Great, we got a tank, never tanked before. Great, this whole thing." and everybody else in that group said, "Hey, slow down there, Chuck E. Cheese. He may be new to the game or haven't been here for a while. What do you need from us?" They said, and I said,
"Your name is Warren Underside. Doesn't inspire a lot of like."
And I said, "You guys,
that's Warren different Underside character. Is not very good.
It's a different character. That was
okay.
Thunderpants, whatever I named the other guy. I forgot his name." So anyway,
turd burglar. Right?
Turd burglar. May as well be. Oh no, Teddy shit. Blunderhose. That's what it is. Teddy Blunderhose.
Teddy Blunderhose, right. I mean,
yeah. So it's just stupid.
I mean, you're probably thinking it's a Fargo guy, like a guy from Fargo playing, and you're like, oh boy, not a gamer.
Not this guy. But the whole rest of the team backed me and said, "Hold on, what do you need? What are you looking for? See, I haven't played that class in a while. Let me look something up real quick." Guy came back, says, "Oh, you're looking for this this ability. It looks like a little pink this." And I said, "Oh, there it is. All right, thanks you guys. It's been like 10 months since I logged in. I apologize. I didn't mean to hold us up." And they were great. What I know I was dealing with after that experience was dickweed ex-WoW player over here being a penis man. That's what that was. That's how he's used to rolling in these things. And I mean,
Eorzea certainly has its chumps within it as well, but by and large, you will get people that are very forgiving of your bad behavior, including me, who released in the middle of a fight and just had to watch everybody else do the boss fight and just stand outside while they all struggled and was like, "Guys, I don't know why I released. I have no good excuse. I've played this game a lot. I don't know why I did it." And they're just like, "It's fine. Don't worry about it."
Yeah, that's pretty funny how that stuff works. But that was a refreshing thing. But then I started a new character anyway, and now Warren Underside is here to save the universe. Eorzea, bow to me in my heroic ways. All right, there's that. I also played a ton of Legends of Runeterra. It's Bo's fault.
Yep. Same for me. I also played it a lot. It's also Bo's fault.
Let's talk about it, all three of us here,
right,
since
guys.
We're talking about it. Bo, you bastard. No, okay, so here's what happened. I liked Runeterra back when it was launched, and I just remember everybody going, whatever, Hearthstone's the king, you can't really, like, there was this weird attitude about it, and so I just really kind of fell off of it, but not because I didn't like it. I thought it was kind of cool. But none of my friends seemed to be into it. You being into it, I was like, well, I just need to get back in there. It's great. Runeterra is great. Like, it's really good. I feel like it's
pretty fun.
Friendly for people who aren't great at these kinds of games, like me. I'm not great at card battlers. I'm just not. But I found myself getting super sucked into they revamped the whole, like, single player stuff in there, and it's meaningful, and like there's story, and Jinx is a psycho, and I gotta go do stuff, and I liked clearing things, and it wasn't easy. There were challenging things, but I had to really think about the second attempt and go, all right, now what did I do wrong last time? And like I haven't done that in a while, and the game games giving me what I need to win without me feeling like I didn't get the right pack or didn't get lucky or any of that. We talked about that last week.
You don't have to buy anything. Yeah, you buy nothing. You just
I haven't spent any money yet, and I'm shocked.
Yeah, you just play that game. And I think it's beautiful, and I love the sound and the impact of stuff. Like, it's big noises, and when you win, there's a core goes up and the giant victory sign, and like their interface stuff I think is just killer these days. And again, all this kind of stemmed from Arcane. Like, the thing Riot's doing is working, I think. Not just with podcasters and people who do what we do. I think a lot of people are feeling it right now. There's also that Blizzard window I keep talking about. Like, they're rolling right into a space where I think it was pretty impenetrable before. And I'm not the only one. I'm hearing from people all over the place saying, "Oh, I'm playing Runeterra again." Also, I love it. I got tired of Mercenaries or whatever they were playing on the other thing, and now they're playing this.
Our time has been completely cleared up. I'm not playing Heroes, not playing Diablo. Touch Hearthstone. Lots of time now.
Yeah, play something else. And this game's good, and I don't feel like I'm being punished or weird. Also, although you know what,
shock both of you with something.
Yeah, go.
I played it on my phone.
Ooh, so did I.
Oh,
so did I, man. I played it on an iPad. It's really good on an iPad, size-wise. It's very good. But
yeah. But
I was so into the game, I put it on my PC, and then I was like, well, I have to go to the bathroom.
Great.
And I could just keep this journey going.
Mm-hmm. And you did.
I guess I'm gonna download it on my phone. And you know what? It works great.
Yeah.
It works so seamless between the two. Like, that's the thing I like, is I look at it and it looks and works slick, and I get done with my dark business and I close the app and I come back and I sit at my computer and I load it up, and I'm exactly where I was in the middle of the before times, and I'm just like ready to keep going.
They don't even make you sit at a menu and choose continue, or they just know where you're at and they sync you and you just go.
John's biopic is going to be called His Dark Business.
I like that. John doing the dark business, but now you have this new friend with you. It's good, right? Like,
guess what? I escalated it further. I put it on my second computer so that I can play rounds of it while I'm running Praetorium in Final Fantasy XIV and watching really long cutscenes.
Oh, it's your side game now too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
I've played a lot of Runeterra because it just runs on stuff and it plays really well, and it doesn't, like, there's no time limit. Like, I could never do this with Hearthstone because the stupid time limit kicks in and you better make a decision quick.
The single player stuff doesn't have timer either.
Yeah,
does it not? Okay. I always remember the timer, but
they actually have really good single player content, but that was behind a pay. Like, you'd have to buy those adventure modes, right?
So they're all $20 a pop, and you just have to do it.
I just love the way it plays. I love the way it looks. I'm terrible at the game. So I've been doing the single player Jinx story, and I think I'm on the third chapter, maybe the fourth. I think I finally may have beaten the third. I can't exactly remember.
The third Jinx one?
Yeah, it took a lot of tries. Like, that first chapter.
Yeah, that first boss.
Easy.
Yeah, easy.
Breeze through it. Easiest thing I've ever done in my life. The second one took a ton of tries.
Yeah.
Third one took even more tries. Like, I'm dying a lot.
The scale ramps up, so there's a difficulty quotient where I think it goes from 1, 2, and 3. So I think the tutorial, the first mission, and then difficulty, it gets challenged. Like, they're hard. I'm doing Caitlyn, like the second mission for her, and it's in Bilgewater, and the Bilgewater, like, some decks just don't line up well with the kind of cards that are in the different zones. So Bilgewater, it's just rough. All these cards have Overwhelm, and I have a bunch of low HP minions.
Yeah,
trying to make that work. Like, I find Bilgewater really rough. It's hard. Like, the difficulty ramps up for sure. It's not a, you're feeling OP and this game's fun, and then you're like, oh my god.
Yeah. When you do it though, when you pull it off, so bad. I've done it before. I pulled it off by 1 point. Like, I had one left on my crystal. I killed their last one just because of one strategic choice. Man, did that feel good. Felt great.
But the tough thing is about in that game, like, Hearthstone's like, when you face a match, I don't think it carries over your HP damage. between matches. Maybe it does actually, but this one does. So the thing is like you can get by in a match with 1 point, and then you're like, you got to face a whole other dude, and you've got 1 hit point, and you're like, oh man, this is unfair.
Yeah, that happened to me. I had 1 point on my core left, and the next ability, or the next guy I fought, his ability was every round he deals 1 point of damage to your core.
That's
like,
Swain.
Yeah,
I was like, well,
Swain
this
like
match
50
is
times.
over before it started. This sucks.
Yeah,
This is
Swain's a
not
dick.
good.
That's Swain's, and Swain also emotes at you. Like he's got an emote that goes like this, and he's like, you know, like he does all these trolling emotes, and it's like I'm having a hard time beating Swain all the time, and I actually find the AI is aggravating me. It's like, oh, Swain, and you cheap 1 damage a turn, like piss off.
Yeah, he's a dick.
How dare you emote me as well on top of it?
Yeah, it's a fun game though. I'm very happy to be playing that, and it just looks good, man. That game.
So you just play as Jinx so far? Did you play any other heroes?
I am stuck as Jinx
only
at the
played as
current.
her.
Yeah, that's all I've done too. So
yeah.
I mean, I've gotten other heroes on my team, so you know, there's been other ways to play other champions, but I also feel like her deck changed. Maybe I'm wrong, but like I feel like my deck from the tutorial to like your first actual story mission after that, it felt completely different. And so when I did the tutorial, I was like, man, they even built the deck exactly the way I would want this deck to be. This is going to be awesome. And then I felt like all my cards changed and it was bad.
But one of the things is with reputation, like those runs add up, so you get like Hades style upgrades over time. So like I'm at level 7 with Caitlyn. You do get a lot of interesting things out of it. So, you know, even if it's hard, you can build up your character and things get easier. So
I finally got the ability where if I discard a card, she will do damage, 1 point of damage to an enemy and 1 point of damage to the core. And that was what allowed me to finally beat Swain. That and a really badass move where I shifted my hero before the attack phase. So they lined up to block, and I shifted my hero to a lane that wasn't being blocked, and it was the difference to kill the core. And I was like, oh man, this game's so cool. Look at this clutch play. Like nobody's cheering for me, but in my head, people are cheering.
Yeah, they're clutch moments. I love that in a game like that. I haven't felt that in a long time. Definitely had that sense of clutch. It's a cool game, you guys. It's pretty rad. I like it. Oh, by the way, no more people. Quit telling me I think Jinx is a ripoff of Tiny Tina from Borderlands. Here's what I would say to you. Where do you think Tiny Tina came
Jinx
from?
Predates, yeah.
Plus, also, you ever seen freaking Harley Quinn before? You ever seen that? All these are Harley Quinn ripoffs, or not ripoffs, but you know they're playing on.
I'd just say she's a more straight up Joker ripoff than if you were gonna say ripoff, she's more of a Joker, right? You know,
yeah,
chemicals.
It's an archetype.
Yeah.
Like
it's fine. It's not a ripoff. It's just it's an original own thing. It's fine.
Yeah,
I don't know why people
Jinx
are so
is
hung
fine.
up on that. People are really like Tiny Tina. They're all up in my face about it. And I don't know why.
Man.
And it's a weird one though, because Tiny Tina came second to Jinx, so I don't know how one rips off the other.
Yeah, I don't understand that either. It's pretty weird. But
Jinx has been around for a long time.
Also, I played a bunch more. I know John did as well, so we can talk about this. We played Halo Infinite multiplayer. Have yet to play with each other, but I played a bunch separately. I assume you did as well. How's that?
Yeah, I got really hooked on it.
It's very good.
Especially today. I played just tons of matches, match after match after match today, and I had another weekend where I was just playing it nonstop. It's really good in spite of its upgrade system, which they are working on. So I kind of tweeted this, and I got a lot of replies that were just like, yeah, it's bad for their like whole progression system. And I had a couple people that are like, they're working on it. What's your problem with it?
Yeah.
It's like, well, look, I'm the worst person to be able to identify an issue in a video game. Like, I don't know if I would make a great QA tester, because I tend to go, something's wrong, but I have no idea what it is. Like, I can tell something's off, but I can't figure out why. But this is one case where I was like, something's off. It's the progression system. This is garbage. This needs to go. And it was one of the first times I've ever been so like laser focused on how is this the version of what they decided to go with in the game, because it doesn't feel good as a player. It doesn't encourage you to play the game in interesting or compelling ways. It seems to actively penalize you for wanting to play more instead of, you know, just playing a couple games here and there. Like, And the only thing it seems to really benefit is them on an artificial, like, pushing back the tail of the progression and buying time, because you can't brute force it by just doing game after game after game to get to the end.
Yeah.
At least as it was originally intended.
I think
The
that's
way
what
it
it
works,
is.
just for clarity's sake, is you don't get XP for doing matches. You get XP for completing challenges within those matches.
Yeah.
So you could win, you could have an amazing game, but if your challenges are kill people with the battle rifle and you didn't ever shoot the battle rifle, you don't get any XP for that match. Now they've changed that. You do now get some baseline default XP, and there's some challenges that are a little more open and you're more likely to get. So some of it is being worked on, but it's still not there, and it still doesn't feel very good. And especially when you go into the Spartan customizer and you see a bunch of gear and equipment, and you're like, oh, look, this looks so cool. And you have to go into like descriptions to find out if it's something you just have to buy from the store, which it isn't a fully open all the time store. So they'll show you armor you technically can't buy, or they'll show you armor that you have to earn, or they'll show you armor that just says stay tuned underneath for how to get it, which is stupid. Like, their whole progression and customization thing could be really cool. Right now, it's really, really bad. Yeah, but
agreed.
The gameplay of Halo Infinite is extremely fun and extremely good, and I'm having such a good time on it that, as bad as that is, I'm still just playing game after game because I'm enjoying playing the game so much, which is the most important part.
Yeah,
it's
it
the
is.
part you have to get right.
Yeah.
The other stuff can be fixed. So
yeah, they got that right. It feels like it's great Halo multiplayer in every sense of that word, and it plays really well, and the rhythm is great, and I love it. The loop is amazing. It's the most fun I've had in a multiplayer shooter in years. It feels so good. That part is amazing. The progression is broken. They got to fix it. And they know, and they keep saying, yeah, we know. And I believe they are working on it. They need this to be very successful as a free-to-play aspect to their Halo universe. This is a huge play for them for the future. This will all get in line. So, on the one hand, I'm like, yeah, these are bad and they deserve criticism, and I hope they fix them soon. But I'm also not with the group that's like, that's it, forget it, it's a dead game, it's never going to work, this progression's broken. That's the thing with a living game. Things get updated, things get changed, they all do it. This is just in a pretty shitty place in terms of progression, but the gameplay's so fun, I find myself caring less than I would normally. Normally I'd be irritated to hell that I'm like, I didn't even get any XP for that match. Instead, I'm like, that was badass. I clonked that guy in the head. 2 guys died from one grenade, and then that one moment when I sniped 3 dudes in a row. Amazing. I'm still feeling the rush of the last match. And so to their credit, 343 has built an amazing Halo multiplayer experience. I'm very excited about their campaign in another couple of weeks, or week and a half, whatever it is. But yeah, they gotta fix progression. It's bad right now.
Yeah, and it's the easiest. Sure, there's devs somewhere that are like, it's not easy, but it's a lot easier to fix progression than it is gameplay. If the game doesn't play good, that takes a lot more effort and a lot more time. So I think writing it off if you don't enjoy the progression system is a bit of a mistake, because that's a pretty easy thing to fix.
Yeah.
If you don't like the gameplay, then I don't know if they're going to be fixing that too much, because I actually think it feels really good. But it's so good. It's doing that thing that it did back in the day when I played Halo, where it's just like, all you want to do is talk about, there were 3 guys down there, and I jumped down, and I shot the one guy, and I stuck a grenade on the other guy, and then the other guy came at me, and I thought I was going to die. I meleeed him, and I got him, and I controlled the point, and I was the best.
Yeah, it does.
And that's what you want from those games. That's the experience you're chasing after, and that's what that game's doing.
Agreed. It's very good. And then finally, I'm going to leave most of the Wild Rift discussion to Bo, because I played that also, and I want to talk more about that. But I finally cracked open Darkest Dungeons 2. It is right now a early access game on the Epic Store only. They made a deal with Epic to get some extra money for that. Not a big deal. A lot of people do it. It just depends on how early you want to get it. Anyway, that's where I picked it up. Kyle as well picked it up there, I guess. And it's exactly what I want that game to be. I bought it, and it sat on my hard drive for a long time because I've just been busy. And I finally went, man, I need to freaking play the thing. I bought it on sale. It was on sale. It was like $24 or 23 or whatever. And fired it up. Darkest Dungeons 2 is awesome. And it's going to get more awesome. It already feels finished to me. So I know they've got more bosses and more stuff to put in there, and that's great. But it's very polished already. It is quite different than the first game.
That's what I was going to ask you, because based on what Kyle told me, it sounded very different, and it sounds like more of a game I would enjoy.
Yeah, I think you are like me, where these changes are actually going to benefit you. It's still brutally hard. It's still the characters in fighting and creating sanity issues, and like the things that set that game apart. And certainly the tone, the dark tone, and that voiceover and all that gritty stuff is all in there. But they've made it more of here are the people we're going to take off with and do a trip with in this horse-drawn carriage, and we're going to stop in places and fight, and in the middle of the road is a problem, and now we got to fight because there's zombies here, and whatever. It's more of a I don't like to compare it to Tainted Grail, Bo, but it's that idea of go venture out and go find the fights, not we're in the manor and down below is where all the shit is and all that. Right. They're taking it out of the place and moving everybody outside. That first game is really great and a revelation for the kind of game it is. This retains what I love about that first one and really moves a lot of what I didn't like out of the way. And instead, there's more of an emphasis on loot and on inventory and on making smart choices there. Also making smart choices about who you're taking on the trip with you, because you know what you're aiming for in terms of the boss or whatever. How you equip them as you go, and you can point up people between rounds. You end up at an inn because you're driving somewhere and there's an inn. So you pull over and that inn's got special stuff, including one of you can get a better skill. Like a healing ability will now add another 5 points of healing instead of just the 3 or whatever for the witch doctor. And you do some of the relationship stuff in there so that you can ease tensions between a couple of your characters maybe, but it's all done very simply and straightforward. And I know there's criticism about that's not this stationary place where you just, had the hospital and all the shit up above and then everyone went down to fight. It's going out and taking the fight to the people. And
right.
The actual battles I think are so much better. I don't know why it is. It just feels better. I feel more compelled even when I'm losing bad. I just have a great time with it. And the new animation on these things. So they for those who haven't seen it, they took that old 2D. The old game was pure 2D, and the old 2D art style was this like hard-edged ink and dark color characters and stuff like that. And they're very simple animations, just chop forward and move back and whatever. This, if you saw a still screen, you'd think you were looking at exactly that again. But when you see it in movement, they're all three-dimensional, and it's a crazy effect. It's so weird looking.
So they're 2D renders on 3D renders, kind of.
I don't even know how to describe it. Just so much more fluidity and dynamics to the way that they move, but they don't. It doesn't feel like it's out of place or a different game. Like back in the day, it's like, well, there's Mario, sprite-based Super NES Mario. Now we got to take him into the world of 3D on an N64, and that's a huge visual jump, a change in the way you perceive the world, the characters, whatever. It's dangerous. Some games fail at this miserably. This doesn't. It's a really cool effect. They maintain all of what you loved about the look of the old one, but just make it like it almost surprises you. You see your guy with a big mace standing there, and he's kind of hardly moving. And then when it's his turn, he'll like kind of turn a little bit, boom, boom, hit his mace to his shield, ding, ding, and he'll just do it like he's a little 3D model in there, but he's still got all those hard edges and the cut ink look to him and everything. And all the while, the guy's going, venturing forth into the wilderness will yield yet another miserable. That guy's talking the whole time, and he's great. I really like it. I think it's rad, and I'm super stoked about that game existing.
I'm excited for this because I tried to get into Darkest Dungeon a couple times and kept bouncing off of it. And based on what I've heard from this game, it sounds like the things that I was kind of put off by from the first one don't exist or are different in a way I would enjoy. And I like the look and the sound and the feel of the game so much. I'm excited that I might be really, really into it.
I think you'll like it. think Bo will like it. I think we all will. It's just, they're adopting so many people made Darkest Dungeon likes after their success. And some of these ideas that we're seeing in this game are from games that took their idea and added a little tweak. Well, now this is them iterating again on some of those tweaks. And I think it's all for the better. They're also super communicative. Is that the word? They communicate with their community. Yeah, they're talking to us all the time, saying, "Hey, this is what we're doing. This is what our plan is. We're letting you know this and that and the other." Like very clear goals and
interesting
all that.
how close the words communication and community are.
I know, right? Yeah, I'm gonna go watch 6 seasons of Communication. No, Community. Anyway, so there's that. Bo, tell me why I had so much fun in Wild Rift and how you're also playing it. Wild Rift is good.
Yeah, Wild Rift's good. I don't have much to say. It's just League of Legends. Like,
it is, right?
Game's been around for 10 years. Like, I think I said it all last week, but I've been playing a lot, so I'm enjoying it. What do you want to talk about?
Well, okay, so let me say it this way. I played enough League to know that I didn't like how League games took an hour and a half, and I also didn't like how the community sort of was. And these games are short. They're 15 to 20 minutes at a max. They feel more like when we would play Heroes. They streamline a lot of stuff like buying equipment when you're back at the Nexus, whatever they call it.
You just pick your loadout, like on the menu here, select screen. You push the button, and you can either pick one of the 3 default ones, or you can replace it with top 3 players.
Or make your own, or you have a lot of.
Oh yeah, you can make your own too, for sure. Yeah.
And you can even say, I want to be solo, I want to be duo, I want to be jungler, I kind of want whatever that role is. And it will try to match you.
Yeah, the role select's really good system, because maybe I don't play what I want, but I still get to play something that I second or third want to play, and it's not so bad.
Yeah.
And I find most of the time I get the role I want anyways.
Yeah,
so.
And it's fun, like Wrecking Fools and just some of those old feelings I'd get when we play our Heroes games I'm having here.
Yeah, I had like a 17 kill 1 death match the other day or something. Like I'm starting to get pretty good at it.
I'll bet. I'd love to play sometime with you. It should be fun to try that.
Yes, we should play. It's got to be easy to coordinate that. Actually, I'll send you after the show. But I'll
send it to me, because I think that'd be
my
fun.
Riot ID, so that at least we could. It's not like we have to get on Discord or something. We're on the phone. If you just want to just send me an invite, we play. That's it. That's fine.
Super simple. But I did want to say, just a quick note here, their UI people over there are killing it at Riot, and I love the UI in this game. It's so fun to watch this explosive sort of stuff. Like, it makes me want to buy shit in the game. I haven't.
Yeah, like have you browsed the skins?
Yeah,
like when you browse this,
awesome.
like I'm just like, Heroes didn't even do it. Like there's this huge explode in and go
it's
fly
crazy.
Around and go.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's
and I'm like, oh shit, I want to give him $10 all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's just a really like top shelf presentation style thing, and fast and smooth. It runs great on. I mean, I'm using an iPhone 12 Max. The big boy. I know you're on an 11. Runs.
I feel 11 has a big screen for what I'm used to on an iPhone.
Oh yeah, for sure.
12 is even bigger. You're saying?
Oh yeah. Well, it's 12's a 6 point whatever it is in inches. But it's about the size of it. It's like a Switch
screen. As
screen.
As my 9 inches or whatever this is.
It's like a Switch screen or whatever it is. But look at us comparing inches.
Yeah, just taking it out and showing it to everybody.
But they're able to punch a lot of eyeball power into that game somehow that other games seem to struggle or hitch with, and this game just as smooth as butter, man. I don't know. It's really optimized. It's nice. Yeah. I can't believe I'm saying all this shit about Riot these days. What is wrong with me?
You're playing League of Legends and loving it. That's what's happening.
And Runeterra, and I love that show that was on Netflix, and I'm now more excited about their MMO.
I finally watched the first episode.
Yeah.
What'd
you think?
I liked it. I liked it a lot. I love the way it looks, and I mean the multimedia marketing crossover business is definitely working, because I saw the moment they're like, look, my favorite toy is up on that line, and then in Runeterra I knocked the toy down, and I was like, I knocked down the thing from the TV show. Actually, it was the other way around. But you get excited about these weird story beats, and it's getting me. Like, I am this close to just going on a Wikipedia bender to learn about everything, and that's when you have me, is I've learned too much about the product.
Same.
All you got to understand is punch first, ask questions while punching, and V is for violence.
Yeah,
that's
or Vi, but yeah. It's a
V
cool
is
thing,
bad.
John. I can't wait to hear what you think of the whole thing. Whatever they're doing there, it's working, and well done, Riot. You've made a player out of me. I don't know. Didn't expect this. All right.
Pretty soon you're gonna be dropping money on skins. You get to see my Star Guardian Jinx outfit that I spent
some of them
$13 on.
Some of them are good, like really good skin work.
You know what the worst part is they're all existing skins in the League client. So, and the thing is, it's the same login for Wild Rift and League. Like they're double charging customers, and they're like no one's complaining about that. Everyone's totally fine with it.
They apparently are working on console releases of this for everything: Switch, Xbox, PlayStation, all that.
Yeah. And they've given a lot for free. Like I have 21 champions unlocked. I only bought one with the leftover money after buying the skin. I was like, oh, let me buy one. The rest of them I got for free as part of the new, login. Like I'm in the Ding Desert now, but as part of the new login, I got to choose from several, and I've got 20 champions to play.
Yeah. The other thing is, we haven't talked about it much, but Teamfight Tactics seems to be the only auto battler anyone's playing besides Hearthstone's Battlegrounds. I mean, they're just kind of like putting stuff out on every front and going, all right, we got everything covered, and we want to be the next. I kind of want to be the next Blizzard, if I'm honest.
It feels like auto chess hype might have cooled off, though. No, I mean, I don't know what viewer counts are like on Twitch, but
I'm sure it stopped some.
Isn't the whole auto chess thing pretty much done with Battlegrounds left the victor? Would be.
I mean, I think that, and I think Teamfight's doing okay. I don't know about the Valve one, the Dota one. I don't know if that's done well.
I mean, people like saying they're bad is like always or failing is such a weird proposition. Like they have people that are playing them, 42,000 viewers on Runeterra. Hearthstone is this weird amalgamation, so of course it's going to have more, but I'm pretty sure most of the streamers, content wise, it's Battlegrounds. I just actually there's way more people watching Teamfight Tactics than watching Hearthstone. Wow.
Yeah. That doesn't surprise me though.
Just to give you a sense, I guess it surprised me because I think Teamfight Tactics is. I think it's pretty lame.
I mean, I don't like.
I mean, it's somebody's fun thing, so what do I know?
I'm done with auto battlers in general. It's not interesting to me anymore. But
yeah,
but
they're fun. They're a fun kind of time waster too. Like,
sure,
if you're watching TV, I really like Hearthstone Battlegrounds just because of how. I got to pay attention for 30 seconds. Okay, back to the TV show.
Yeah.
It's like, did I win? Like it's very casual in a fun way.
Yeah.
But
my only problem is I think I realized it's basically tower defense, and you know how I feel about that. Because at the end of the day, that is what it is. It's tower defense. Like it's not towers, but you're just beefing up the stuff in between rounds. You're seeing how it goes, just sort of watching it happen. Oh, a couple of towers didn't hold up very well. I must not need to change up my tactics a little. Like I realized I was kind of doing what I don't like, so I quit doing it.
I mean, there you go. If you don't like what you're doing, don't do it.
Yeah.
I have a question, but you like turtling stuff, right?
In RTSs, yes.
Because did you play their Billions?
No, but
you played that?
I own it.
Yeah.
I've never played their
Billions or
Millions.
So they're making a new game called Age of Darkness.
Yeah.
And I missed Age of Billions or whatever, but Age of Darkness Final Stand, and I'm kind of I've been looking at eyeballing this game and another game called Diplomacy is Not an Option, where you build up a kingdom but have to defend it, and while it's tower defense, it's also has a step in RTS turtling strategies as a whole game mode in and of itself. So I'm kind of eyeballing these games as potential plays because.
Interesting.
I'm in the mood for a solid RTS at this point, but I'm having a tough time making a decision on a game. I play a game and I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'll move off of it. I installed Stellaris, for example, and it's still tactical turn-based, but I'm like, no, it's not what I want to do. But Age of Darkness looked really interesting to me.
I love the new. I mean, you got to be in the mood for the historical stuff, but I really do like the new Age of Empires 4. I think it's cool.
Yeah, see, that's another one I thought about trying, but I find I'm not in the mood for that right now.
I get you.
I want the Age of Darkness does have it's a medieval. There's crazy spirit monsters and stuff. Like it looks, I don't know. I'm shopping for an experience like that, but the reason I brought it up, I don't remember, but it was to ask you something. But if you've played There Billions,
yeah, I did.
like,
I do have
because
it.
I know you don't
Played
like
it.
I know you don't like tower defense, but then there's this sort of nether realm of like turtling strats in games like StarCraft, which are, everyone's like, you shouldn't turtle in StarCraft, but it's fun, you do it. But they have these whole game modes that are just devoted to that play style. There are Billions are like, oh yeah, we're gonna make a whole game mode that's like that. So I just want to know if you'd played.
I've never played that.
There's a really fine line for me between what is fun doing the turtle thing, because like Scott and I both played, and I find it crazy that we both played exactly the same way. Age of Empires the same way, which was just build walls around everything and then basically play a city builder inside the walls. Where there's no threat. I mean, like, you get attacked doing that in Age of Empires, but at no point are you at risk. Maybe every now and then you need to send somebody out to deal with like one soldier that is just out of the range of all your towers and it isn't getting hit. Their Billions I got because I thought it was going to be kind of like that, but you get so much pressure to have your defenses up so quickly and, just make it through wave after wave. That's where I ended up falling off, because there's kind of this weird happy medium where I want to be, where I don't want to feel too much pressure, but then are you actually playing a game, or are you just playing a city builder with a weird additional element on top of it if it's too easy? And I don't know what that sweet spot looks like, because I don't think I've ever played it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna try one. I think I'm shopping. I was just curious if you.
Yeah, the show we'll talk about it on here and see how it went for him. You also wrote on here Sea of Thieves story. How's that going?
Yeah, so I forgot to talk about this last week, but we had a great victory, a satisfying victory, which I'll try to briefly relay, because this is what makes that game so special.
Okay.
All right, Mike and Crofton of Legend. I talk about them often. We log in to go on a boat. We went to go get a gold node where we can find sunken treasure in a sunken boat, and we go down, we're getting the treasure. And lo and behold, we emerge from the water, and pirates are shooting at us. Bam, bam, bam. A bunch of dickhole pirates are just rolled up and started firing at our ship. So we actually managed...
people or computers?
Yeah, other players, yeah, okay. In another boat. We managed to get back to the ship, plug up the holes, get going, and shoot back for a whole bunch of time until we run out of cannonballs. So then they chase us for 30 minutes, and occasionally hitting us. We're really low on wood. We got about 3 pieces of wood. We're trying to find an outpost to go to and ditch these guys. And they're still shooting at us. They seem to play the game better than us, of course. We're just like, oh my God, get away. So we've been dealing with them for like 30 minutes. So there's this actual blue water in the top right, which I've learned is actually where there's a quest for the Shores of Gold, but I didn't realize it was like that. And I'm like, why don't we drag them into that water and maybe a Kraken will attack them or something. But I didn't realize it was out of bounds. So we move in there. When you go out of bounds, the blood turns blood red and the sky turns dark. And it's really terrifying, actually, being out of bounds. And I'm like, oh shit, it's out of bounds. That's not good. Being out of bounds also means that the water pokes holes into your boat.
Jeez.
So you'll just start like nothing. You just be like bunk, 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 and it's like time to get back in bounds. So we use the last 3 pieces of our wood, and now Crofton and I are on shoveling water duty. And the idea was we were going to move into this area because I checked the map and saw it, and I'm like, I bet those players have such tunnel vision to kill us. They didn't check their map. So we drew them out into this out of bounds water because there's no borders or signs signaling out of bounds. You just need to know you're out of bounds. And because we got in that skirmish, I'm like, okay, I didn't realize it was out of bounds. Let's move back into water and we'll take our chances. Hopefully they're not as smart. And so we get out back into the fresh water and we're fine, but we still have to pail. There's a hole or two. We don't have wood to resolve. So we're paling, but I stop paling and I take my telescope out and I look at that boat, and that boat's getting smaller and smaller in the distance. And I'm like, please, please, please. And then I saw the ship go, sploosh. And I'm like, we beat him. It was like an hour of trying to escape from these guys. It just rolled up and reamed us. And we tried to fight back for a little bit, but we ran out of resources. And then we actually managed to get away through clever thinking and outsmarted them. And so I'm really proud of us.
It's another reminder that I need to play that effing game. I just don't ever get around to it. I hear so many good things. Every time you talk about it, I get excited about it. And then
I mean, I would love to play with you guys. It's so fun. It's so undemanding mechanically. It's very like simple game, but it's hard to encounter other players. Like you sometimes go hours without seeing them, and then when you do, you immediately feel that tension of I bet they're dicks. Like it's a pirates game. Like you're like you kind of want it to be friendly, and every now and then it is. But also in your brain, you're like, well, it is a pirate game. Yeah. Maybe we can sink there. Like you're also starting to act like less of a good person.
Maybe
like
we're the dicks. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. So that was a really fun experience. I didn't stream that one, so I wanted the memory of it because the ship was so tiny. I was like, please catch a glimpse and resolve this story for me, because maybe I wouldn't know if they would have died or not. It would have been bugging me forever. But I just saw the boat go ploosh. I was so happy.
Wow.
So that was a great victory overall. And then we learned that we've been noobs. Like we've been playing this game for a year, and we didn't realize that at the outpost you can get a full crate of cannonballs. So we just roll with the default what's on the ship, 30 cannonballs, which you run out really fast. Apparently you can load up on like 80 cannonballs or something. And so this game doesn't really explain important things like that to you. And I'm just sharing that for anyone else who's playing that doesn't realize.
It's like the idea that you're a bunch of frugal pirates.
Yeah, we never put our cosmetics on.
If you can't do it with 30 cannonballs, you can't do it at all.
Well, there's lots of the game's all about cosmetics, and you have to when you log in. This is actually annoying. I don't know how to default the cosmetics on a boat, so you have to go and assign the cosmetics every time you play, and we always forget. So we're always in like the noob wood plane ship, just like rolling around.
That's great.
Yeah,
I want to play.
You guys should play.
I need to play it. We also need to get.
It's on Xbox Game Pass. It's like free.
I know it's like nothing.
Organize a night.
Have it.
Play Sea of Thieves.
I keep hearing the new update for Dwarf Game's amazing. By the way,
I heard
hearing that too. Like
Yeah.
real good. Like better pick it up and play it again. This is the problem. There's too many effing games. Look at all these games. And John's about to disappear into Final Fantasy Land forever for the next bit. I'm thinking.
It's true. I had to have a really hard decision on what I'm going to do first. Like, am I going to level up?
We don't hear about.
Yeah.
We don't hear about Final Fantasy 14 a lot on the show.
No, never.
No,
so we're ready to hear about it a lot.
So get ready. I'm
I'm
going to finally play it, everybody.
I didn't know Final Fantasy and DCU came out the same year. I was just looking at dates here.
Did it really? That's crazy.
Yeah, they're the same age, those two games. Weird. I always think of DCUO as earlier.
Yeah.
But same year. Well, maybe this doesn't count the Reborn, though. The Realm Reborn business. I don't know.
Oh, that could be.
Because that was 2012, so a year apart, but still. All right.
But, games, there's a lot of them.
A lot of games, a lot to play. And gosh dang it, we're going to play them all. But first, we're going to do this email.
That's a good question.
Here's an email from Sam. He wrote in to talktothecore@gmail.com and says, hey guys, first I want to thank you guys for helping me find new ways to enjoy games recently. I don't remember what discussion it was exactly. Probably not the soaking discussion that we had last week. Maybe he says maybe it's,
but I don't know, maybe that changed the way you play video games, and if it did, write us, because
Yeah.
I'd be really curious how that what that did for you.
I did get a follow-up email from somebody who's described what bouncing is. I hadn't heard of that. Do you want me to tell you
we got a lot of people that wanted to enhance that story.
Yeah, there's a new
They didn't think we went far enough.
So the
Few people
bouncing
thought we
story,
went too far.
I'll give you the brief of it. It's like, so if you listened last week, it's soaking, but your third friend, you have a third person involved, and not in a great way. They get on the bed and they jump up and down to create the friction. Yeah. This is apparently a thing.
No, what a great way that the third person could be involved is.
The third person's involved, not a great way.
It's a horrible way to have a third person in your little team there, What an awful
But what's
thing.
a good way to have a third person?
Well, I don't know if you're having a proper I've never experienced this myself, so
Well, if you're soaking, let's just say hypothetically, you Scott are soaking.
Yeah.
And and Brian Ibbett's in the room with you.
Jeez.
What would you ideally like it? What would be a good way for him to be there?
I don't know.
What would be the best option for him?
There is no good
camera.
option. There's no good option. There really isn't one. But if you don't know what we're talking about,
I
that's
mean,
probably
maybe
just
if
as
he's
well.
feeding you like French fries, that's a good option.
Oh yeah, I
like
could do
French
that.
fries.
Yeah, good fries though, not bad fries. They have to be good fries.
I feel like if you're gonna feed two people going at it, it's got to be grapes. Just lean into what you're doing.
you know,
I'd love to be the guy feeding two people going at it. That's like, a different kind of pleasure you're offering, but it's not sexual, so I don't feel gross about it.
like hedonism. Bob.
Everybody
Here's
gets
a
hungry.
Here's a chicken wing.
So
it'll power you up.
So here's a joke. What's a bouncer's favorite in this scenario? What is a bouncer's favorite French fry brand? In and Out. All right, moving on. Moving on. Here goes. Oh, let me finish this email. It says, maybe it's just the fact that every week Scott seems to have a dozen games he's played that were different than what he played the previous week, but listening to the show lately has helped me be at peace with jumping around game to game a bit more often and not feeling so stressed out when I don't finish a game right away. I'm currently playing or fall behind on a daily quest or something. I think that's a liberating thing to do. Truly. I feel that way about my gaming stuff. I mean, there's some games I wish I would get in and finish, but truthfully, I'm just looking to enjoy video games, and sometimes that's hopping around. Anyway, my old habit of playing one game obsessively usually led me down a road where he would burn out hard and then try to find the next obsession. Lately, I've been having way more fun playing whatever sounds fun at the moment, knowing I can always look back or go back to something when I'm in the mood for it. Now that I type it out, it sounds like a no-brainer. But either way, it's a new mindset that definitely made gaming and other hobbies more enjoyable for me lately. So thanks. Well, I love that kind of feedback. Thanks for letting us know. Now to my question. I've always been a console gamer, and that's mostly because I've never had anything other than a Mac for a computer. In our current house, we don't really have an office or a good space to set up gaming rigs, so it'll still probably be stuck with not getting a PC for the time being. With that said, with Steam Deck being announced and coming out, I thought maybe that would be the right thing for me to get. And it would give me a great way to play a lot of PC games. I'm missing out on without having to invest the money or space. However, I'm now wondering if maybe I'd be better off spending my money on the new generation of consoles or just living with that for now. Curious on your opinions. Maybe you've heard any more about the Steam Deck since its initial announcement. I mean, let me stop here. He has more to say, but that game or that device, the whole idea is that you don't need a PC to play games on it already, meaning you don't have to tether it to anything. You don't have to have an existing thing. It's nice if you have a bunch of Steam games already, because then they're just going to play over there. But it is in effect a PC, and I think if you are cool with the portability of it, plugging it into a TV when it makes sense, if you're cool with all of that, the specs look good. Like it should be a nice device. And if you're limited on space, and especially, a couple of grand on spending it on a new PC, I think this is a good solution, personally.
Yeah, I would also say, just to give some credence to the argument of getting a next-gen console, for fear of getting labeled as a fanboy of some kind, I would recommend the Xbox Series S or X. You said in your above email you like playing a whole bunch of different games and being able to jump from, game to game. Game Pass is what will allow you to do that. I would probably recommend the PlayStation 5 if there were specific titles you felt you absolutely needed to play. But because he's saying that his new favorite way is to just play something, whatever he's in the mood for at the time, Game Pass lets that happen. So that would be my recommendation on a console. But if you already have a Steam library and you just want to, have something portable, or even if you don't have a Steam library, you just want something that you can, maybe play handheld and take somewhere, then the Steam Deck. I mean, it isn't proven. It's hard to recommend that. It's easy to recommend the idea of it. I guess we should wait and see how it is received to make sure it's actually good before I recommend it.
Yeah, I agree. We don't know yet. It got delayed. We thought we'd know by now, but now we got to wait until February. So some of that jury's still out. They're probably still going to be kind of hard to get. But yeah, it's unproven. John's right about that. But from all the hands-on I've heard, and I've read a bunch of really extensive hands-on from different outlets, it seems rad. It seems real good. Like they're not cheaping out on this thing. They're not going with a lousy screen. They're not, it's not garbage plastic. It seems like this is an actual attempt for them to really get some market with this. So
I mean, there's a big assumption that you're going to be able to get one.
Yeah, that's a huge assumption. I mean, honestly,
consoles are hard enough to get.
I'm guessing that most people wouldn't see a Steam Deck till late next year, Christmas time, if then, and that's if supply chain issues around chips in general kind of get back up to speed. It's a real weird thing.
I think at least that's what the pre-order was about, because if you pre-ordered, maybe at least they know how many to commission, you know?
Yeah, but I'm with John on the recommendation. The Xbox has just made it very hard not to recommend with Game Pass. It's just ridiculous, the value. And I don't know if you guys saw, they are now outselling Switch and PlayStation 5 as of 2 weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Xboxes?
Yeah, even though they're also hard to get. None of them are easy to get, but the actual sales they do have, they're outselling the other two. And I don't know if Microsoft is responding to this, but most people are attributing to, or people who analyze this stuff in the industry are attributing that sales growth and that position change to Game Pass as being just a real draw.
And they have a cheap line as well, which I think for the more budget-minded, the more budget-minded, like I think with the Game Pass and the cheaper version, I think it's a no-brainer, and it's a box that they can watch their Netflix and all that stuff's available on it too.
There's just something to be said about booting up a new console and having it full of games.
Yeah,
and not. These things are expensive enough. Controllers are insane nowadays. Like controllers cost more than a game, and that didn't used to be the way it worked. And you invest so much money to get just the system up and running that then you start throwing $60 games on top of it. It gets really pricey. And I think being able to boot the system and go, oh, look at that. I got a whole library. I can play so much stuff. That was what was neat for me, because I was basically in a position where I got the Series X and I was like, well, that's all I got. I got, so here's my system and that's all I have. I don't have any games for it. I booted it up and all of a sudden I had a ton of stuff I could play.
Yeah, immediately.
So
100 games or more.
Yeah, and you're having
not even just like 10. Oh, I subbed to this 10 games.
Yeah, and you're having a hell of a winter right now. With the between Forza Horizon 5, Halo Infinite multiplayer beta, and the upcoming campaign, which will be out in a week, and a bunch of stuff that landed this week. Coming. Exactly, and that Gunk game that we heard about it like 3 E3s ago, that's coming out before the end of the year. There's so much to play that's new, old, indie. Stuff that's been on there forever, backlog libraries of various developers and publishers that Microsoft now owns. Like, it's kind of just insane, and it's a real strong play by them, and they're spending a ton of money to do it, but it's just kind of undeniable.
And you can still get your top tier stuff on that con. Like if you like Assassin's Creed, well, it'll run Assassin's Creed.
You get it there,
Creed.
yeah. All your third party, right?
All your CD Projekt Red game. You can get Witcher on there for like $5 when it's on sale. Like there's also deals on there where you can get really cheap game. That's why I bought it again. It's my under $10 rule.
Yeah. And also the game I should mention, the console now supports direct cloud play before you have to download anything. So if you want to see if the latest Souls-like game, which I did, Mortal Shell came out on Game Pass. Didn't know what it was. Looked dark and cool. Wanted to check it out. Don't have to download the 15 gigs or 20 gigs or whatever it is. All I had to do was hit the cloud play feature, and that ran great. I had no lag. That was crazy. It made me wonder how often. I'm probably going to use that more often than I thought I was, just on the console, because I didn't have to download this giant thing. And even if I did, the saves are all still there. Great. All of it's downloaded now. Now it's fine. I don't know, man. It's such a compelling business thing that
it's really going to be wild. It's going to be wild when finally we can stream all games to VR headsets all the time.
We're getting there.
Metaverse.
The metaverse.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about Metaverse yet on this show and how it's going to impact gaming, but I'm looking forward to it.
With Mark Zuckerberg. Just kidding. Thank you for the email, Sam. You can send your emails to talktothecore@gmail.com. We'd love it if you did. That's talktothecore@gmail.com. Now, let me tell you a general truth here. We really like making this show. We have fun hanging out with each other and talking about all this stuff, hopefully helping you guys make some decisions and also, maybe affect some of your tastes and things like that. I don't know. I wouldn't say we're taste makers, but we're adjacent to that sort of thing. And if you like it, well, then you could be like a bunch of people who support us at patreon.com/core show. And by doing that, you get a bunch of extra stuff to boot. So head on over there and support us today. Patreon.com/core show. All right, before we leave, Oh, frogpants.com/core for everything else. Whatever you're looking for, Twitter accounts, all that stuff, it's all there. Before we go, John, I'd like to ask you for some words of wisdom. Anything you'd like to end the show with here before we go?
Hey, everybody. Boy, we sure had some fun here tonight. We learned a lot, and we grew as people. And I like to think that, like Scott said, it's about growth. It's about accepting new things and new ideas. But there's one universal truth, and that is putting Commander Shepard in the Mass Effect TV series is an absolute mistake. Please don't do it. It's bad.
It's not bad. It's not bad for a word of wisdom there. Didn't see it coming. Bo, you want to add anything to that?
Quick words of wisdom, but I want to shout out to the military. We've had a lot of their personnel on today. We've had Commander Shepard. We've had Major Negotiations and General Truth.
Yeah.
And where would we be without all these great military legends? So
That's good.
Shout out to all the former and current service people.
Wow. Thank you for your service. Yeah, exactly. That's fantastic. Wow, what a great thing to finish the show on. All right, that's it, everybody. Go play your games. Have some fun. We'll be back next week with more right here on Core. Until then, stay safe. We'll see you then.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Yes. Get more at frogpants.com.
We really pulled a boner on this one.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I see we've entered the era of the boner now.